And a very good afternoon to you from Paisley, just down the road from Ibrox. I'll keep you up to date with that one and what's going on elsewhere in the Premiership. A couple of games in the lower leagues have survived the weather as well, so we will endeavour to keep you up to date with those ones. In the main here on digital, on Extra and 810 medium wave, it is St Mirren against Aberdeen, who are looking to apply some pressure on Celtic, who go to Hearts in the even later kick-off. Dundee Hibs to come at 5:45, Hearts Celtic 7:45. Just about every Premiership game kicking off at a different time this afternoon. The latecomers beginning to arrive here. Of course, been plenty fans outside the stadium here in anticipation of a 3 o'clock kick-off. They had to wait an extra hour, and well done to the Aberdeen supporters who have bunched into the away end off to our right. It's been an awful journey for many, particularly I think Dundee, Perth, that area around about the Broxton roundabout. It's been an absolute nightmare today for many, travelling north or south as the two sets of players make their way out onto the pitch here, which has been almost completely cleared of snow, and that is major kudos to the staff here at St Mirren, the stewards as well, who've been working on the pitch from about 11:30 onwards. And save for the snow that's bunched in against the digital advertising on this near side and across the rest of the stadium, the snow has been completely cleared from the playing surface. An hour after the advertised kick-off, under the lights here now as dusk falls on Renfrewshire. The Aberdeen and St Mirren players exchange handshakes, and with the match officials headed up today by John Beaton. Aberdeen, remember, unbeaten in the league, hurtling now towards December. This is the first of 3 difficult away days for them, though, over the course of the next 8. With this one followed by Hibs on Tuesday at Easter Road, and then Hearts at Tynecastle next Sunday. They did win on their last visit to Leith, but by and large they've got a pretty atrocious record at the 3 away grounds that they'll be visiting, including this one. They've only won 1 of their last 10 here at St Mirren Park. In league games, Saints are unbeaten in Paisley against Aberdeen since December 2018, when goals from May and Cosgrove won the game 2-1. The Dons have won a Scottish Cup tie since then. A wonderful Lewis Ferguson goal settled that one. Balcom in goal for Saints, Fraser, Gogic, Taylor at the back, Womono, the former Don Phillips, O'Hara and Tanser across the middle, McMenamin and Kiltie with Olasanya. For Aberdeen, it's Mitov in goal. It's Devlin, Rubitic, Malloy and McKenzie, Shinnie and Nielsen, Morris, Clarkson, McGrath, the former Saint, and Esther Sockler leads the line. So bang on 4 o'clock, St Mirren get the game underway in their black and white stripes, going left to right as we watch from the back of the main, with Aberdeen all in red, with white and silver flashes, grey granite colours on the collar as Devlin sees it out for a throw-in over on that far side. Stephen Craigan watching this one with me. It's been a fairly dramatic watch in the couple of hours leading up to kick-off, watching everyone clearing the pitch. They've done a magnificent job.
They have indeed, and the players will just be desperate to get the game underway, to get their first touch, to get up to speed. It's been a long wait. It's out with their comfort zone. That's not what players normally like to do, sit about a dressing room waiting for the big occasion to arrive. So it will all be about who can settle best, Liam, who can get their foothold in the game and get some authority in the game in the early stages.
Long throw in for St Mirren, which Killian Phillips takes from wide on the left into the Aberdeen box. Morris gets his head onto it and clears. Richard Taylor will mop up and rolls it back into his own half for Gogic. Long ball by Gogic, but that will come all the way through, and a first feel of the ball for Dimitar Mitov. And he rolls it out to this left-hand side for Jack McKenzie. McKenzie with a little ball into his own box for Gavin Malloy. Once again, that back four starting for Aberdeen. This has been the case for the vast majority of this season. As Malloy plays it to Shinnie, who's dropped deep, whips it out to this left-hand side for McKenzie. McGrath's on his bike ahead of him. It's cut out by Bomono. McGrath trying to win it back, and he has done now. McKenzie keeps it in play, plays it along the halfway line for Nielsen. Back to Malloy. And now with Rubic, a light drizzle tumbling down from the skies above here in Paisley. It's a bitterly cold evening as well as Clarkson rolls it back to Mitov. It's 3 changes in total for Aberdeen for this one from the side that started against Dundee 2 weeks ago. 4-1 win in the later kick-off at Pittodrie. St Mirren going same as the side that started the game, the win over Hibs at Easter Road last time out, and they've got a little free kick down on this near side. Looked like a pretty harsh decision by John Beaton, who's in charge of things this afternoon. But it's a St Mirren free kick on this near side, and this is where they're dangerous, Stephen. Long throws, free kicks, balls into the box. They've got good height.
They have, Liam. You know, we heard Jimmy Tillene ahead of the game saying that St Mirren are quite direct, but when you look at their front three, there's not a lot of height or physical presence amongst them, so set plays certainly play a big part. Out
to McMenamin, who's returned to form as well from injuries. He lays it back to O'Hara, long deep ball into the box, comes right through to Mitov off a St Mirren head, I think. Didn't know much about it. Mitov has it, and he bowls it to Shinnie, who's ball out of defence, gave it away in the first instance that eventually led to that St Mirren free kick. It's played into the midfield for Nielsen, closed down by the pacey Olasanya, but he gets it back to Rubezic, who plays it outside the box here for Malloy. Aberdeen with a fabulous campaign so far, save for that League Cup semi-final, looking to try and keep it running here as Rubezic goes back to his keeper. 10 wins and a draw so far in their 11 matches. As Mackenzie goes chasing after Marcus Fraser, who has it for St Mirren, right hand side of the Aberdeen box, low ball back into the area. The shot takes a deflection and goes behind for the corner. It was McMenamin there. Really good spin and brilliant work by Marcus Fraser in the right hand side, and he found McMenamin, who swivelled, and his effort just took a little nick which took it away from Mitov's goal, but it's behind for the first corner of the afternoon, which comes for St Mirren. 0-0, 3.5 in.
Well, you can see Aberdeen have a distinctive way they want to play. They want to get the ball out at the back, they want to roll the ball in the midfield. It was Mitov that hooked it into the middle of the pitch and give Marcus Fraser that chance to win it high up the pitch, and that's how St Mirren will be.
Good start by Saints. Low ball into the box, pass back to the edge of the area for McMenamin, who shoots it goal. It takes another deflection and goes wide for another St Mirren corner. Aberdeen being pushed back here in the infancy of this one.
Well, that was a well-worked set play, I have to say. I think it was Greg Kilty who went short, rolled the ball to the edge of the box. McMenamin had the shot, so they're just trying to mix things up rather than be predictable. St Mirren.
Opportunity to cross in from the far side again, second corner, and it comes towards Mitov. Doesn't get a really good punch on it. It's done enough to get it clear. Right angle of the box. Kilty with the high ball, which goes way over the crossbar, and that will be a goal kick for Aberdeen. And that opportunity for St Mirren comes to an end. It is half-time in the match in Perth between St Johnstone and Kilmarnock. Goalless. It is goalless. Ross County, Motherwell as well. Those games kicking off closer to the scheduled start times. 3:15 it was, as it goes out to the far side for Aberdeen. Morris can't keep it in play, and St Mirren have a throw-in over there on the far side. Scott Tanser having to battle to climb over the snow over on the far side before launching it back to Gogic, who in turn launches it first time forward into the Aberdeen half. McMenamin can't control. Nielsen gets onto it now. It's with McGrath on this near side, but he runs out of pitch, and out it goes for a throw in here under pressure from Killian Phillips. With a little boo from the Aberdeen supporter. He was there for the second half of last season. Saw his penalty, crucial as it was in the shootout against Celtic, saved by Joe Hart after the Celtic keeper had missed one of his own. As McGrath looks to find Morris, an ambitious ball, and he comes all the way through here to Ellery Balcombe. It's been a really good start by St Mirren, Stephen. You have to say Aberdeen have been pushed back pretty much since the first whistle.
They haven't. Sometimes as a team, yes, you have a way you want to play, but sometimes you have to mix it up, Liam, to suit the occasion. They're trying to roll the ball out, they're wanting to tickle the ball into midfield, they're wanting to play that perfect football, but the conditions sometimes aren't conducive to that. St Mirren are setting traps, they're waiting to go. You can see them, the centre halves are ready to step into midfield, Phillips is ready to press up towards the front for St Mirren. So Aberdeen just have to be careful, because any kind of mistakes, any loose passes, so the home side are waiting to capitalise.
It's Malloy for Aberdeen, just outside his own box. Rolls it to Mackenzie on the near side, then back to Malloy, who goes back to his goalkeeper. St Mirren pressing the game well here. It was a dodgy touch by Mitov, and he has to put it out for a throw-in down by the corner flag on this near side. It's been a very shaky start by the visitors, this. Mitov defending the goal to the right where the away supporters are, here in good numbers as they always are. St Mirren supporters have been packing this place out pretty much all this season and last, as Phillips prepares to take a long throw-in on this near side. Level with the Aberdeen 6-yard line, and ultimately in it comes. It's flicked on there by Bomono, but it Aberdeen get it away only as far as Fraser. Here's Phillips, his attempted cross cut out by his countryman and former teammate McGrath, and out for a Saints throw-in on this near side.
Aberdeen are trying to draw them in. They're inviting St Mirren to come and have a nibble. The problem from Aberdeen have is they keep knocking the ball back to Mitov, and that's the trigger for St Mirren to really be aggressive, because clearly he's not as comfortable with the ball at his feet.
Rubedzic with a header away. Bomono on this right-hand side. He's done well to dig out the cross. It's not a bad delivery either. Might break for the Lasagna, and Rubedzic gets a crucial touch onto it to clear. O'Hara recycles it for St Mirren. It's back with Richard Taylor. Squares it, switching it to Fraser on this right. Long ball into the box. It's too close to Mitov though, and it can even bounce through to the Bulgarian, who's just back from international duty. Almost on 8 minutes, nothing each.
And again, Aberdeen starting to play, rolling it out. Olasanya's nibbling. He's got lots of pace. You can't afford slack passes when you've got good aggressive players in round about you, but they're not changing. That's what they want to do. When it comes off, it's beautiful. It's really pleasing on the eye, but you think how many times is going to happen out of 10 or 15 opportunities. That's where St Mirren are comfortable playing. The likes of Phillips, they're aggressive, they hound, they harass as much as they can. So it's up to Aberdeen to just play through it and see where it takes them.
Mitov out to McKenzie. It has to be said, Aberdeen in games, they've perhaps not been at their free-flowing best, yet they've found different ways to win different kind of matches this season, and it could be that this is another one of those. Even the Dundee game at home last time out, they won it 4-1, but Dundee were probably the better team in the first half of that one. Ended up on the receiving end of a 3-goal defeat, as Mitov plays it short to Malloy and then out to Clarkson on this left-hand side, looking to get it through to McKenzie. In behind Bomono, but Gogic's read the danger. It comes across, snuffs it out and clears. Up towards halfway, Olasanya touching it back to McMenamin, and now Phillips looking to use the pace of Olasanya down the right-hand side. Burns down towards the byline, he's kept it in, he's sat down Malloy. Olasanya into the box, rolls it back to McMenamin in the edge of the area, heavy touch. Saints trying to keep it alive. McGrath digs it out, and it's a volley at goal which isn't far away from Scott Tanser on the left foot. Had enough danger in it for Mitov to be running and diving to his left in case it was on target. It goes behind for the goal kick. It stays 0-0. The opening 10 minutes have belonged exclusively to St Mirren, but it remains nothing each.
Well, there were so many good things about that passage of play. The willingness of Toyosi Olasanya once again to chase a ball down. There's a little bit of trickery to keep the ball in, to try and find Conor McMenamin. He slips away from him, but they recycle the ball. They have numbers in the box, and Scott Tanser, a lovely strike from the edge of the box, but couldn't hit the back of the net. Aberdeen have had the warning signs, Liam. You have to switch on, you've got to be sharper.
Really good hit that by Tanser. He's only got the 1 goal so far in his 12 appearances coming into this one this season. And he's a danger from dead balls. He's a danger when it's alive, as it was at the edge of the box there. And Aberdeen at the moment asking for trouble. The way they're playing is they come away in a counter. McGrath looking to flash it through to Morris. What a ball it was. Shayden Morris attacking the full-back down the right-hand side. He's into the area, pulls it back towards City. Brilliantly read by Alex Gogic. He comes across and slams the door in his face. And it stays nothing each. Aberdeen's best moment in the game so far. Not that that's difficult the way that this has started for them. What a sumptuous ball from Jamie McGrath it was. Of course, the Saints fans know all about his talents here. Down the left comes St Mirren, up the other end. Rubedzic has been turned, and it's crossed, low ball into the box and cleared out to the far side. Kept alive by Tanser. He's got a chance to cross, and it comes, and Mitov holds on at his near post. St Mirren 0, Aberdeen 0, but there's Stephen. Aberdeen flickering into life all of a sudden.
Well, when you have that pace in the wide area that Aberdeen have, and Shayden Morris, I have to say the pick out, the execution of the pass from Jamie McGrath was absolutely sensational. It just opened St Mirren up completely. He then had the pace and the trickery to skip past Scott Tanser, but the reading of the game, the understanding of Alex Gogic just diffused it, and then St Mirren went in the counter-attack. So far, Liam, it's set up, has been a really good watch.
Nielsen dinking it out to Devlin on the right-hand side, up the line for Morris. And Aberdeen looking to get a feel of the ball here. It's been tough for them in the early exchanges. So Rubedzic rolls it back to Mitov. Short ball to Malloy, and now Clarkson. I've been at times, as I was alluding to there, they have been asking for trouble. Aberdeen playing the ball out short from the back. St Mirren all over them like a rash. Mitov playing it short to his left for Malloy. Malloy unchallenged. Forward to McGrath's little flick, doesn't find Clarkson. Eventually it does. He got a second bite at it. Clarkson flies it out there to Morris on the right hand side. Now he's attacking the St Mirren penalty area. Into it he goes, and he lets fly, and he goes over the bar. He's claiming corner. He's going to get one as well. Took a little nick. Linesman points to the quadrant, the corner flag. It will be an Aberdeen corner, their first of the afternoon, in the 13th minute at 0-0.
A couple of minutes ago, Shayden Morris skipped past Scott Tanser in lots of space. The ball went to the exact same player in a very similar area of the pitch, and you could tell by Scott Tanser's body movement he wasn't happy, he wasn't comfortable being 1v1. That is going to be a real source for Aberdeen this afternoon if they can sicken Shayden Morris with the ball, because he's got the beating of Scott Tanser.
He's got some pace, but of course Olasanya has that for St Mirren up the other end. Aberdeen corner, taken short by Shinnie to Clarkson. Right foot cross comes in. Slocklip with the flick. Rubidzic. Sockler again. His effort saved by Balcom down low at his near post. Sockler rolls it back out. Still alive for Aberdeen. Clarkson swings it in. Too high for Nielsen. And it will go out for a St Mirren throw-in on this near side, level with their own 18-yard line. Saints nil, Dons nil. 13 played.
Well, it was only a matter of time before Aberdeen started to get a foothold in the game. Shayden Morris has been the out ball, but that came from a corner kick. Really well worked. Plenty of Aberdeen bodies around the area. They win the first ball. They pick up the second ball. Good save by Balcombe. And St Mirren know for all their attacking threat, Aberdeen will pose a problem also.
Well, they'll have moments in the game, Aberdeen. They've been much better in the second half of matches recently than they have in the first. They've been slow starters. Hasn't cost them yet, apart from that semi-final. McGrath is tripped, and he's won a free kick on the touchline, brought down by Bomono. And this is going to be level with the St Mirren 18-yard line, so an opportunity again to bring Malloy and Rubidzic up to try and pose that aerial threat from the set play.
It's a really poor free kick to give away. I think it was actually Marcus Fraser. Jamie McGrath's facing outside the play. He's trying to kick through the back of him to get the ball. There's no need to do so. All it's allowed is Aberdeen to put a dangerous ball into a really good area.
It's going to be taken by Leighton Clarkson by the looks of things. Right-footed. He's fired it very deep, too deep. Rubidzic can't get onto it, and it flies behind for the goal kick. And it all comes to nothing for Aberdeen. It's goalless here, as it is, across the piece in the Premiership. The 4 matches that are underway just now, a couple of them at half-time. The second half of those matches in Dingwall and Perth will be starting shortly. Goalless down the road from here at Ibrox. Rangers Dundee United, as it is here. Dundee Hibs 5:45. Hearts Celtic 7:45. Blockbuster day in the Premiership. The lower leagues, clearly it's been a massive cull of fixtures there because of the weather this morning. There is a couple which have been given the green light as St Mirren come forward. Rubidzic heads it away under pressure from Olasanya as Devlin calmly rolls it back to Malloy, who finds Nielsen. Now to Devlin on the right hand side, up the line for Shinnie, infield to Nielsen. Aberdeen's been a good few minutes for them, just having withstood the opening 10 minutes of the blast from the home team.
Well, I think what happens, Liam, is the spaces eventually open up, because St Mirren aren't as aggressive at times when they're pressing, and if somebody's not on point to do that, that's when Aberdeen can go and pick them off.
Shinnie in the midfield, look for the break of the ball against Phillips. He's got it back here. Graham Shinnie's decided to go for goal. It's high over the bar with the left foot, and it will stay St Mirren nil, Aberdeen nil. So no goals in the top flight. Ayr United Dunfermline did get the go ahead half an hour into that one. It is goalless. Of course, it doesn't snow in Ayr, and it's 0-0 at Somerset. And the match in League One, which has got the nod, is Montrose Annan, albeit it was meant to kick off at 3. It was then rescheduled for 4, and it was rescheduled for 5. All the matches in League 2 off, all the other ones off in the Championship in League 1. Save for that match at Hampden last night, of course. There's Sockler for Aberdeen in the centre circle. Clarkson down to stab it forward. Phillips, though, stretches out that long right leg to get St Mirren back on the ball. Now it's Bomono down the touchline, dinks it forward. McKenzie, though, picks up. Nielsen closed down by Phillips. Phillips challenge, takes it out to this near side. Malloy decides to concede the throw-in on this St Mirren right as they attack the goal to the right. McMenamin takes the throw-in quickly. Back to Fraser, back to McMenamin, off McGrath, and out for another Saints throw on this near side. real crucial phase of matches for Jimmy Tillene down there. We'll know all about Aberdeen's potential credentials for title challenging by 10 days' time probably. They are here today, Hibs on Tuesday night. They're at Hearts next Sunday, and then they host Celtic on December the 4th. That's a Wednesday night. So, crucial 4 matches. And it'll be a major test, as I say, of Aberdeen's credentials. Still doubters out there. St Mirren have a throw-in on this near side then. Phillips, it's another long one. His potential for run-up is been reduced by the snow as he bowls it into the box. It's flicked on off an Aberdeen defender, and behind for St Mirren, third corner of the match, 17.5 goalless minutes in.
And this is where St Mirren think they have a slight advantage when you look at the physical presence they have with Olasanya, with Phillips, with Fraser, with Taylor, with O'Hara, Gogic coming up. Aberdeen, yes, they have a couple of big centre halves. They've got Sockler and they've got Sievert Nielsen. They may just try and catch someone out.
In comes the corner, and it's straight at Mitov. Wasn't the best delivery from Tanzer. He's capable of better than that. It's in the gloves of Mitov, who collects and holds and lets his team reset before bowling it to his right along the deck to Devlin. Out to the far side for Clarkson. And now it's back with Slobodan Rubedzic. Low ball square to Malloy. The conditions won't faze the Aberdeen players. They've been training in it most of the week, I think, in the northeast, certainly the last couple of days. There's another loose ball, this time from Nielsen. Pomono can't control or find a teammate with, and he puts it straight out for an Aberdeen throw-in on this near side. If you are going to play the ball out from the back, the way Aberdeen are doing, you need to find your teammates for it to work.
Well, you have to be precise, but you've also got to recognise that the player who you're playing the ball to isn't marked tightly by a St Mirren player, because they're wanting straight balls to be played and they're wanting square balls to be played in the pitch. That encourages them, Liam, to go and have a nibble, so you have to be selective.
Jamie McGrath's ball forward, Sockler chasing, Fraser's there though, and he calmly gets it back to Balcom, who fires it forward, and Olasanya trying to get in between the two centre backs here. Rubedzic has made a mess of it. Olasanya scores! Koyosi Olasanya puts St Mirren in front against unbeaten Aberdeen. He scored at Pittodrie. That was in a 3-1 defeat. This could mean so much more. Slobodan Rubedzic beaten all too easily. One long ball from Balcom, and Olasanya was onto it like a whippet. It's St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0.
Well, Jimmy Tillene said ahead of the game that St Mirren are direct at times. Well, his players must have known it, because the manager knew it. One simple long ball shouldn't take a full back line out of play, but it does. The minute it bounced, Rubedzic was struggling. He knew that Olasanya was on his shoulder. He knew he was pressuring him to go through on goal. I don't know if it was a potential handball, is all I'm going to say about it. That was the first thing that entered my mind. I'm not too sure if that is the case. But anyway, Olasanya went through. And the one part of his game that he's improved, Liam, is his calmness in front of goal. He's much more assured in front of goal. He slots the ball past Dimitar Mitov. And if it stands, it's a terrific goal and a terrific start for St Mirren.
Well, if it stands, it's his 7th of the season. Olasanya, who scored as well. You'll remember that dramatic late victory for St Mirren against Aberdeen last season, when it looked like Conor Barron's goal early on was going to win it. Aberdeen conceded twice in stoppage time under Neil Warnock. The goal stands. St Mirren lead. Unbeaten Aberdeen, and now the Dons once again have got a question to answer. When they have gone behind, it hasn't been terribly often this season. They've come up with the answers, but clearly, given everything here, given what St Mirren are like, they've only lost a couple of home games this season, given Aberdeen's record here, I know it's a new manager, new set of players, Aberdeen's record in Paisley is pretty dreadful, and Saints are back onto it. That's been passed through to Olasanya, and I think everyone in the stadium knew he was offside there. The flag goes up, but that is a massive issue for Aberdeen. Olasanya's pace. We've just been talking about it. Aberdeen have got the threats in that regard as well, particularly Shayden Morris. Esther Sockler's a chaser as well. But in Olasanya, the two Aberdeen centre-backs just could not deal with him there.
But you know what? That's when you're at your most vulnerable, Liam, as central defenders. When you're attacking the play, and if you stand and watch the game and you aren't aware of where your man is, the guy you're playing against, but against someone at the pace of Olasanya, he's got to be in your sights. He's got to be in your thoughts all the time. And the two of them just switched off.
Malloy slips. And Olasanya's in right-hand side of the box. Kilty trying to get up there. Olasanya pulls it across, blocked by Rubedzic. St Mirren corner. They've been the better side, there is no question about that. Aberdeen had a 5-minute period where they were getting on the ball and they were looking a threat themselves, but the rest of this first half, which is almost 22 minutes old, has been all about St Mirren, and they are looking for a second goal here, having just taken the lead. Aberdeen hanging on all of a sudden. Jimmy Talleen down there, hands in coat pockets, watching on. He'll be concerned as Tanser prepares to wind up this latest St Mirren corner. This is their 4th of the afternoon, right in front of the Aberdeen supporters. Tanser, it's a low one, the dummy across the 6-yard box is cleared by Devlin. And clever little dummy that. It was Phillips. Saints have it over on that far side, driven towards the Aberdeen box. Rubičić heads it away. Breaks to Tanser, who's still out in this near side, having taken the corner. Fraser gets the ball back into the box. Cleared by Rubičić. And then breaks back into the St Mirren half.
Completely resurgent St Mirren, aren't they? When you think, what, just over a month ago they went to Tynecastle and lost by 4-0, and people wondered where St Mirren were going, what direction they were going in. Stephen went back to basics. He went back to players that he trusted last season, who were successful for them. He went to his 3-4-3 favourable formation, and boy, have they responded. It's been a great start for them.
There's Sockler onto a long ball for Aberdeen, midway inside the Saints half. Finds Clarkson. Here's McGrath. McKenzie going on the overlap. That's where it goes. It's at the feet of Jack McKenzie, level with the penalty spot. Rolls it back to McGrath. Leaves it for McKenzie, down with the corner flag, looking to get a cross in here. He's done well to dig it out, and it's volleyed over the bar by Clarkson. It was decent though from Aberdeen this time. McGrath and McKenzie combining down the left-hand side, and Clarkson did well to actually get the shot away first time and get it as close to the goal as he did, because that's a very difficult one for him to take. Might have been slightly behind him as well. It's over the bar. It's a goal kick to the hosts, who lead this game 1-0 and 23 and a half.
Well, that will certainly give Aberdeen a little bit of encouragement. Jamie McGrath up to this point has had an excellent season. He's been quiet in the game. Leighton Clarkson, he's trying to find space, but he knows with O'Hara and with the Gogic coming in behind him with Phillips, he's not going to get a lot of time in the ball, so he's under a little bit of pressure.
A header from Rubičić, down goes Sockler in the centre circle, no free kick. Aberdeen pick up with Devlin, forcing it out wide right for Shayden Morris. Morris controls, facing his own goal, turns towards the St Mirren goal, tries to get away from Taylor. He's burning down that far side, and Gogic slams into the challenge. No holds barred there. The Aberdeen fans aren't happy with it. The red card's out. Saints down to 10. Stephen Robinson can't believe it. Alex Gogic has been sent off by John Beaton. Well, it looked like he got some of the ball, certainly, but whether it comes under the category of endangering his opponent is a very different question altogether, Stephen Craigan.
Well, I'll tell you what's remarkable. His assistant, who is right beside it, gave a throw-in to Aberdeen. So John Beaton is clearly something in his mind. He's got a picture in his mind of what he views that happened. There's no doubt Gogic goes to ground. Does he lunge in? Does he go with 2 feet? Does he play the ball? Is his studs off the ground when he makes contact with the ball and with the player? I'm not so sure. But Marcus Fraser was quite calm, actually, and ushering his players away as if he feels it's going to be overturned. But that's Shayden Morris again causing the threat and causing the problems. It's a huge call if it stands. A big call from John Beaton and from VAR.
Well, VAR is Matthew McDermott, so he'll be looking at it just now. Is John Beaton going to be invited to come over and have a look at it on the VAR monitor, which is down in front of us? Huge moment in this game here. St Mirren on top, St Mirren in the lead. But Alex Gogic has just had a red card flashed in his face by referee Beaton. Is the match about to turn on a sixpence here? Gogic is over there, still having a word with the referee. They are checking to see if this red card is going to stand. We've not had a chance, me and Stephen, to have a second look at it. Stephen's trying to strain his neck to have a look at the St Mirren in-house team to see what they think about it. Alex Gogic waits, hands on hips over there. John Beaton is listening to the VAR. I think he's going to come and have a look at it himself. He is. He's going to look at it himself. He's going to come over to the other side of the pitch. Now, does he stand by his own decision, or does he take the VAR advisement that this was a harsh decision and downgrade it to a yellow? Over comes the referee right in front of the main stand, chock full of St Mirren supporters. No pressure. Over he comes, but generally when the ref's asked to come over and he agrees to have a look at it, he's going to reverse it. you would think, and Stevens had another chance to have a look at it.
Every time I've had a look at James, the St Mirren media manager, it's been explained to me that he goes to ground for the tackle, clearly wins the ball.
Hold on, let's find out. John Beaton, he's walking back out onto the pitch. Let's see what he does here. The referee's making everyone inside the stadium wait here. It's a huge moment. He's just walking slowly. He's calling Gogic. I think it's going to be downgraded to yellow, is it? John Beaton, yeah. The red is being rescinded, and it will be downgraded to a yellow. So that's a real boost and bonus for St Mirren there and for Gogic. And John Beaton has made the wrong call there, and it's been righted by VAR, and it will continue to be 11 against 11. 1-0 St Mirren. We're in the 28th minute. That's a huge moment.
Well, we've got the right decision in the end. However, John Beaton, on his first viewing, thinks it's a red card from his angle. He has to give it. He's 100% convinced it is. However, that's why VAR is there, and he's big enough to change his mind, and get back on 11v11.
Leighton Clarkson and Shayden Morris over the free kick. It was Morris who was brought crashing to the ground. Right in the touchline over there on the far side, level with the Saints penalty spot. Right-footed ball, comes all the way through, blocked on the line. Aberdeen trying to keep it alive here. Bouncing ball, right-hand side of the area. Malloy heads it out of the box. That's only to St Mirren's benefit, and Olasanya's onto it on the far side. He's got a runner ahead of him as Olasanya goes down. Free kick Saints over on the far side. It's 1-0 St Mirren, 28 on the clock.
It's just added another little bit of spice to the game. Not that it needed much, Liam. I have to say, both sets of supporters, when their team have been in the ascendancy, they've been up, they've been vocal, they've been getting after them. It's a cracking atmosphere. The pitch is greasy, it's slick, the ball's moving fast, and when you look at the pace of Shayden Morris, is a real threat for Aberdeen, but Olasanya for St Mirren is also a real threat.
Goals going in elsewhere as well, as we were looking after that Olasanya goal for St Mirren. Ronan Hale and Josh Nisbet have both scored for Ross County. They lead Motherwell 2-0, and it is 1-0 St Johnstone against Kilmarnock. Mackenzie Kirk has got the goal there, on loan from Hearts. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 0. It remains goalless at Ibrox. St Mirren here, though, threatening Aberdeen's unbeaten Premiership start to the season. Phillips with a header forward. It's away by Malloy. Clarkson gives chase. Should be Marcus Fraser's, though, and he dumps it forward, and then Bomono tries to keep it in play. Didn't look like he was going to. He has done, and McKenzie wins it back and goes down, and Aberdeen have a free kick. Down on this near side. Back by Sivert Nielsen to Malloy, and then to Rubezic. The one thing I would say is Jimmy Tillene, he's not been scared to look to his bench. His substitutions have had the desired effect most of the time this season. Saw it most recently against Dundee. St Mirren get a free kick for a foul by Sockler, and that's going to be just outside the centre circle inside their own half.
Well, even at this stage in the game, you feel Jimmy Tillene is going to need those substitutes to come on and just mix the game up a little bit. There's no doubt Aberdeen are in a game they would have expected to be in a top physical, demanding game. They are, but when he looks around behind him and sees the quality that he has, he knows if it's not going their way into the second half, he can easily roll the dice.
It's a good bench. Looks at Duke, Nisbet, Palaversa, Bazawan, Keskinen are all on there. But here's Balcom with a long ball forward. It's going to come right through to Mitov, who holds on. I believe Dundee United have gone ahead at Ibrox against Rangers. Possible long-awaited victory for Dundee United at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Dundee United 1. Here Aberdeen trailing St Mirren. And the long ball from Mitov goes over the head of McGrath and out for a throw-in.
The unpredictable Scottish Premiership continues. Some of the results, not just today, are set up for today, but throughout the season, which has made it even more interesting, Liam, for everyone.
Haven't got the goal scorer yet for Dundee United. I believe there's a VAR check for a possible offside, so it may not stand. Coverage of that one, incidentally, on FM and on Sounds with BBC Radio Scotland and Sports Sound, if that is what you're looking for. Here on Extra on Digital 810 medium wave at St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0, 31 on the clock. The throw in from Fraser down the line, headed away by McGrath. Little flick by the Saints skipper O'Hara. Back to Gogic, he'll be breathing a big sigh of relief, having had the red card shown to him. There's Tanzer, he's nicked it away from Devlin, down in the byline, pulls it across and headed away by Rubezic. Morris trying to keep it in play, but it goes out for a Saints throw in. St Mirren looking for a second here.
just got to stand across up Scott Tanser. Skips past Nicky Devlin really well. And I think from where he is on the byline with so many players at the front post, he has to try and stand the ball up to the back post and allow the likes of Bomono, Mark O'Hara, who was charging in, to get onto it. It's a let off for Aberdeen, no doubt.
Long throw in, Phillips into the box. Tanser gets his head to it, gets it back out to Phillips on the far side. Runs into Morris though, who makes the challenge. Aberdeen have it back. Morris forward to Sockler. Can't control though. Aberdeen just cannot keep a hold of the ball for more than a few passes. A major issue for them today. It's gone out for a Don's throw-in off Tanser over on the far side.
And I think you have to compliment St Mirren for that, because they haven't allowed him to make 4 or 5, 6 passes. They have around the edge of their own 18-yard box, but once it enters the middle of the pitch, they're waiting to go. They're setting traps and they're ready to go and nick the ball.
McKenzie rolls it low out to McGrath, who goes all the way back to Malloy. Olasanya comes to meet him, rolls it back into his own box for Mitov, who takes a touch and clears with the left. Gogic with a header forward there, and it's straight to Devlin for Aberdeen. Saints unbeaten in 3, they've won 2 of them. An impressive win at Easter Road last time out, and off the back of a really poor run. They've lost 4 on the bounce as Morris picks up on the right. Gogic this time doesn't slide in on him because he knows he's on the yellow, having had that red downgraded to that colour. And he comes off him and out for an Aberdeen throw in, level with the Saints penalty spot wide on the right. 12 to the break here. Ball towards Nielsen, doesn't reach him though, and St Mirren clear as they come away. Olasanya goes down, that's going to get brought back for a St Mirren free kick midway inside their own half. He's been an absolute nuisance for these Aberdeen players. Toyosi Olasanya, and I was reading, it doesn't look like he's going to be staying beyond this season. And Richard Taylor's another one. Looks like they're both going to seek a new challenge at the end of the campaign, and that'll be a blow for Stephen Robinson. Sam Dalby got the goal for Dundee United, and it stands at Ibrox. Rangers 0, Dundee United 1. And you do feel Philippe Clement is potentially under borrowed time there. If they lose that game, it's very difficult to see how the Rangers fans will, or he'll be able to turn things round in the eyes of the Rangers fans. We shall wait and see. It's Marcus Fraser with a cushion header out to McMenamin on this near side. Back to Fraser, dinks it forward, right hand side of the Aberdeen box. It's Elvis Bomono, out to Phillips, good play again. Phillips gets the first time ball in, taken away from Olasanya, only just. Still alive, Tanser hoists it back into the box. Mitov punches, it's not decisive though. Olasanya with his back to goal, rolls it back to Taylor. He's had it pinched off him by Sockler. Morris trying to get in there, blocked by Alex Gogic. Big shout for handball by the Aberdeen supporters, but St Mirren have a way to come forward here with Tanser. Olasanya beaten to it by Malloy. It's now forward to Clarkson. Sockler trying to stay onside ahead of him, and Clarkson delayed too long, and St Mirren have it back with McMenamin on this near side. Just about the final 10 of the opening 45. Saints 1, Aberdeen 0.
The tempo of the game is terrific. It's making for a really good spectacle. Just on that last counter-attack from Aberdeen, I think it did hit the hand of Alex Gogic, but it was kicked at him from half a yard and the ball was at his side. But it was a let-off. Aberdeen were on a massive counter-attack.
Yeah, you're right about the pace of the game. I'm not sure it's suiting Aberdeen right now though. It is Malloy, rolls it low out to this left-hand side for McKenzie. Stephen Robinson is animated as ever down there. Malloy rolls it forward to McGrath, and then back into his own half for Rubidic. Ball out to the right there for Devlin. Aberdeen looking to dig themselves into this. As I mentioned earlier, when it was 0-0, they have been a second half team primarily this season. As Rubidic picks up, low ball to his right for Shinnie, the Aberdeen captain, forward up the line there to Morris. In the boos from the St Mirren supporters. I'm not sure it was his fault that he was brought crashing to the ground by Gogic, albeit the yellow card was the correct decision. Having had a look at the replays, the ball's played out to McGrath on this left-hand side. The former St Mirren midfielder is top scorer for them, 17 goals in that campaign. And he hit the goal trail here. There's Rubidic over on the right-hand side, onto the touchline for Shayden Morris. Going to take on his man. He's managed to beat Tanser on the right-hand side. They're going to get it to the byline. Morris, he's done well. He dinks it back, headed away by Gogic. He is an absolute colossus in that St Mirren defence, is Alexander Gogic. Aberdeen pinch it back with Shinnie on the far side. Infield to Nielsen. Just outside the centre circle, Devlin. To his left for McGrath. St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0. 36.5 on the clock. Malloy to Rubezic. Low ball. Forward to Nielsen. Out to the right for Shinnie. Shinnie then back to Sivert Nielsen. Midway inside the St Mirren half. It's a long ball pinged out towards McKenzie. He's found him as well. McKenzie nods it back to McGrath. Back onto the chest of McKenzie at the left angle of the St Mirren box. Back to Clarkson. Looks up, gets the ball in. Gogic with the header. He didn't need to commit to that header. It looked like it was coming through to Balcom. Not that he knew that. And McKenzie thought he was fouled. He wasn't. He's decided to stop playing as well. And Womono comes away with it and wins the throw-in off Clarkson on this near side. St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0.
I have to say, just the desire of the St Mirren players, the press, the harry, the stop crosses, to win the ball when it comes into the box, to run forward. The complete opposite of what they were probably 6 or 7 or 8 weeks ago. Aberdeen are having to be patient, they're having to move the ball. If they move it too slow, it allows St Mirren to get back into the shape. But once again, Shane Morris on that right-hand side, they have to get the ball to him as much as they possibly can. He's got the beating of Scott Tanser.
St Mirren won it back in the midfield off Shinnie. Does Greg Kiltie out to Tanser, driving down that left-hand side for St Mirren in space. Devlin trying to close it down. Low ball across, takes a touch. It breaks kindly for Sivert Nielsen, who can clear. Now picked up by Morris. Now he charges forward. He goes down in the centre circle. No free kick. Wag of the finger there from John Beaton. There's Pomono. Back to Phillips. Phillips with the right foot. Angle ball to the edge of the Aberdeen box. Headed away by Rubezic. Shinnie goes down. No foul. He's put his team under pressure here as the captain. Left-hand side of the box, Olasanya. He's down to the byline. The touch from Malloy. And he goes behind for the goal kick. And it will stay St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0. Elsewhere in the Premiership, Ross County 2, Motherwell 0. They are beyond the hour mark in Dingwall. St Johnstone 1, Kilmarnock 0. Again beyond the hour mark at Ibrox, Rangers 0, Dundee United 1. Final couple of minutes of the first half there. And here in Paisley, St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0. Later, 5:45, Dundee Hibernian, 7:45, Heart of Midlothian Celtic. It's goalless Ayr United, Dunfermline at half-time in the Championship. Montrose Annan in League One. Kicks off at 5. Aberdeen in possession. Haven't lost a league game this season. Haven't lost a league game since March. Here is Shinnie. A little spin, driving forward to the outside of the boot. He finds Clarkson, lays it back to McGrath. Out to McKenzie. Better spell from Aberdeen this. McKenzie at the left angle of the box. Cuts in field, rolls it back to Shinnie. And then McKenzie, little ball left-hand side of the box for McGrath, finds a pocket of space, drives it across, cleared by who else but Alex Gogic. Nielsen into the area, couldn't find a teammate. Sockler couldn't get it under control or get an effort away, and Tanser calmly knocks it up the left-hand touchline for Greg Kiltie. Kiltie across halfway, acres of space for Conor McMenamin here if he can find him, which he can't, and it's cut out by Malloy, who finds McKenzie, who finds McGrath. Here's Nielsen heading towards the final 5 minutes of the first half. Shinnie on the halfway line, out to the right with the low ball for Morris. He goes back to Shinnie, infield to Nielsen. And back to Slobodan Rubezic, who finds Malloy. Aberdeen, a more settled period in the game, would you say, Stephen?
Yeah, I just think St Mirren have put so much into the opening 40 minutes, Liam. There's going to be a stage where they're going to have to come off the game and absorb a little bit of pressure. They'll still carry that threat, but it's physically demanding to continually have to chase and harry and keep your slot. So Aberdeen then have to try and capitalise on that.
Olasanya almost away again. Rubezic gets there first on this occasion. His ball up the line, cut out by McMenamin, and out for an Aberdeen throw-in. It's been a tireless first half performance by Saints. As the throw-in's taken by Malloy to Nielsen, and back to Gavin Malloy. Still the rain tumbles down. It's now with Devlin getting it from Shinnie. Down the right-hand touchline for Morris. Morris, he's done well against Tanser again, gets away from him, driving down the far side. Taylor tries to get in support, it's moved in field too. Devlin at the byline, his attempted ball cut back is blocked, and out of play it goes for a throw into Aberdeen on the far side from Taylor. And this is going to be, I think, about level with the St Mirren 18-yard line. You know, a little bit edgy, Stephen Robinson down there. It's been the most testy period in the match defensively, you would have to say, for St Mirren.
I think he's a little bit nervous because Shane Morris has got past Scott Tanser about 6 times. On the outside, sometimes get him in the pitch and get the likes of Mark O'Hara or Richard Taylor to be inside you, so when he comes inside they can go and engage and make a tackle with him. But if you continually show him the line, he's going to beat you for pace, and he's not even got a trick, he's just knocking the ball and running past him, so that's a worry.
Nielsen for Clarkson, Sockler chases, Balcombe smothers, and it stays 1-0 St Mirren as we tick ever closer to the interval. It's been a reasonably strong end to the first half for Aberdeen, and even if Ellery Balcombe hasn't had much to do in the goal for Saints, real saves of note to be made. A problem for Aberdeen here last season. Remember the goals they scored here in the first meeting between the sides, a fortuitous Johnny Hayes free kick and then a Miovski penalty, which I think was reviewed at the end of the campaign as being a double hit penalty from the Aberdeen striker. Another game here, that one under Neil Warnock, and Aberdeen collapsed in stoppage time. Here's McMenamin, fouled by McGrath, that'll be a yellow card for the Aberdeen number 7. And a pretty cheap one perhaps to take. There were 5 or 6 Aberdeen players behind Jamie McGrath there, but it's a yellow for the Irishman. He missed that international camp, having had that minor operation. Saints free kick, Stephen. Yeah,
you just know the yellow card's coming. It's needless from Jamie McGrath. Yes, he steps past you just over the halfway line, but the minute you tug his jersey, it's always going to be inevitable that you're going to end up with a yellow card. But it was good play by Conor McMenamin. I think St Mirren have missed him. His counter-attack and pace, his ability one-on-one to go past people and unlock doors. So he's had a strong game too.
I thought those 2 excellent goals against Hibs last time out as well, as he steps over the free kick and allows O'Hara to sweep it high into the Aberdeen box. Nodded half away, really crucial touch there by Sockler, I think it was, and then Morris is pulled back by McMenamin, and he too will go into the yellow card, having committed the professional foul there. And the St Mirren number 10 joins Gogic in John Beaton's book. 1-0 St Mirren.
Well, it's a carbon copy of Jamie McGrath's yellow card, that the player he's playing against was too quick. This time Conor McMenamin was the offender. Shane Morris again, when he lifts his head, he's just gliding past players. He's causing St Mirren all sorts of problems, and I'm sure at half-time Jimmy Talene will be saying, can we go down the right-hand side even more, sicken him up the ball, make sure he gets it at every opportunity.
Nielsen has it just outside the centre circle, rolls it forward into the St Mirren half for Shinnie, challenged by Olasanya, who wins it back. Shinnie's not had his best afternoon at the office. Olasanya giving him problems this time, but Shinnie gets it back. Stephen Robinson wants a foul, it's not coming. Clarkson has it, sits Taylor down, looks up at the goal, shoots a goal and drags it wide of the right-hand post. And it stays 1-0 St Mirren. It was probably worth the effort for Leighton Clarkson. Once he opened up that space, he shimmied away from Taylor, who took the bait, went down. Clarkson saw the goal, and his effort towards the top right goes flying by. And it stays 1-0 St Mirren in the final minute of the opening 45. There will clearly, because of the VAR for the red and for the St Mirren goal, be 2 or 3 minutes added on at the end.
I think he just got a little bit excitable, Leighton Clarkson. He'd done the right thing, and that's the areas where Jimmy Talene wants him. In behind Mark O'Hara and Killian Phillips, but in front of the St Mirren back three, where he can work his magic. He can try and draw one of them out, he can try and go 1v1. He's got the ability, but it's finding that space because St Mirren have been so aggressive.
Pomono for Saints on the near side. They lead thanks to Toyosi Olasanya's 7th goal of the season. Malloy turning it out for a throw-in on the near side. A second Saints goal before the break. It would be such a fillip for them if they can find it. And Phillips, 2 minutes added. Phillips will take the throw on this near side, and it's about level with the edge of the D of the Aberdeen box on the main stand side. Killian Phillips, former Aberdeen player, he was on loan there from Crystal Palace last season. Looked impressive in the black and white stripes recently. His throw-in comes into the box, headed away by McKenzie. Breaks back to Richard Taylor, who flights a long left foot ball forward, which is going to skip behind harmlessly for the goal kick. And in first half stoppage time, it stays Saints 1, Aberdeen 0.
And I think Stephen Robinson will be absolutely delighted that they get in half-time at 1-0. Everything that he spoke about ahead of the game, everything he thinks about the game and how he wants to see his team playing has been on view this afternoon. Their aggression, the way they go about it, their ability to counter-attack, the threat they've carried, how they've defended. But Jimmy Talene will be wanting a little bit more from his team. He knows there's more to come. They just have to try and pick the right passes and pick their moments. I
just wonder if Jamie McGrath's yellow card has made Jimmy Talene's decision at half-time even easier. He sent a few of the subs away for a warm-up, including Duke. Get their warm-up started sooner rather than later as Shinnie plays it forward, looking for Clarkson. It breaks McKenzie's way, but Fraser gets away with it. And it's with Bomono up the line for McMenamin. One back by Shinnie, but McMenamin gets the scraps and back to Phillips. Long ball looking for Kilty. He's going to come all the way through to Meathoff, but he's wide right of his own box here, right in the touchline. He rolls it up the line and out for a throw-in.
BBC Radio Scotland.
Over on the far side.
Absolutely tremendous.
And it's
There's
back.
no substitute.
A chance to cross the ball in. O'Hara into the area. Breaks to McMenamin, right-hand side of the box, onto the left-hand side. He shoots the try. Fabulous effort from McMenamin and good build-up play by St Mirren.
Next
And Aberdeen so
Cup
close
finals,
to
two
going
massive
2
games
down
to get us to
before
the Euros, and I'm
half-time.
sure we'll be
Stephen
right
Cregan.
at it.
the
Catch the
thing about
action
Conor
from Easter
McMenamin, he
Road
can go on
on
his
Friday
right foot and he
evening
can go on
and
his
the
left foot,
second
which
leg
is very,
live from
very difficult for
Helsinki
defenders.
on
Jack
Tuesday the
McKenzie
3rd of
showed him on
December.
his left, and I tell you what, we're right behind him. That was ever so close to find the top right-hand
Watch
corner of the
on
Aberdeen goal.
iPlayer.
Listen on
Well,
digital
there's the
radio
half-time
or
whistle,
ask your
and
smart
Stephen
speaker
was
to play
saying his
BBC
namesake,
Radio
the St Mirren
Scotland
manager
Extra.
Robinson will be absolutely delighted with that first-half performance. Aberdeen's unbeaten start to the Premiership season coming under serious pressure here. Olasanya's 7th goal of the campaign is what's separating the teams at the moment. It came on 20 minutes. Alex Gogic was sent off 5 minutes later, though it was rescinded and downgraded to yellow after the VAR check before Clarkson and McMenamin went close at either end. Half-time in Paisley, St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 0.
Across Scotland with the latest news, sport, music and culture.
On digital radio
BBC Sounds.
and your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio Scotland.
So half-time in Paisley, St Mirren leading Aberdeen by a goal to nil. Olasanya with it, Stephen Cregan still with me. Is it a deserved lead for the hosts at the break?
I think they've edged the game, Liam, no doubt about it. I think how they started the game was crucial. Stephen Robinson always likes to get after teams early on. McKennie was asking me ahead of the game about how I viewed it, how teams would set up. Particularly at home, when you've got the fans with you, Stephen Robinson likes to get off to a fast start for his team to be aggressive, to try and go and press. And Aberdeen probably played into their hands a little bit. They were rolling the ball around the 18-yard box. They were trying to draw St Mirren into them. A couple of times the ball went back to Dimitar Mitov. He had loose clearances and St Mirren capitalised on it. That kind of gave them a bit of belief and confidence and galvanised them that they could go and press and nick the ball high up. It's a good goal by Olasanya. It's a poor goal
On
from
digital
an Aberdeen
radio,
perspective. One
FM,
long ball
online
off the
at
pitch is
BBC
allowed to
Sport
bounce and take out your
Scotland.
two
Your
central
smart
defenders. Shouldn't be the
and
case.
on BBC
You always talk
Sounds.
about it, but
This
2v1
is Sports Sound
centre half.
from
Can
BBC
one go and
Radio
stand in front and one
There's
goes behind,
no
so that takes out the
substitute.
bounce. But the two of them are square. And you know when he's lurking behind you, Olasanya, if the ball's over the top, it's a foot race, unfortunately, he's going to beat you, and he had the composure to go and do that. So there's been moments for Aberdeen where they have been okay and they've created a couple of opportunities, but they haven't been as fluent or as dominant as what they have been in previous games. So it's been breathless, I have to say. It's been consistent. Both teams have put a lot of work into it. Aberdeen have shown glimpses of quality, but St Mirren have got that all-important first goal.
If you're listening in on digital and on Extra and 810 medium wave, you might have thought you'd be getting a little break from me and Stephen. Unfortunately for you, you're stuck with us through the half-time interval. The action raging on FM and on BBC Sounds on Sports Sound this afternoon, where you'll get commentary from Ibrox, Rangers, Dundee United there at half-time as well now. Dundee United leading through that Sam Dalby goal. A fabulous half-time scoreline for United, for sure. And Dalby's goal, which survived a VAR check for an offside, has Dundee United leading at Ibrox. It's been a long time since they were in that kind of position. Though Stephen Cregan is flagging something up to me, to my left anyway. Ross County leading Motherwell by 2-0. St Johnstone leading Kilmarnock by 1-0. And as I said, Dundee United with a lead thanks to Dalby. The Ross County goals came from Ronan Hale and Josh Nisbet, the Australian, grabbing their second, and the St Johnstone goal was scored by young Mackenzie Kirk. So that's where they're at, and it's half-time, as I said, at Ibrox. I think Rangers had a goal disallowed deep into first half stoppage time. I'm not sure who had the ball in the net, but that's been ruled out after the VAR check. So it remains Rangers 0, Dundee United 1 at the break. As it is here for St Mirren, in favour of them. They lead by a goal to 0, and they're a very difficult team, Stephen, as Aberdeen know only too well. They've been, since St Mirren moved into this stadium, this is Aberdeen's 24th visit. They've only won 6 times here. It's not one of their favourite hunting grounds. They've got another couple of difficult fixtures at Easter Road and Tynecastle coming up before they welcome Celtic to Pittodrie. But on St Mirren, every single one of their players, with the exception of Balcom, who's been completely underworked in the first half, the outfield players have worked their socks off. They've got the goal and they've got something to hold on to. And the thing is, they've looked at times like they want to get up there and get a second and try and put this game to bed.
I have to say, structurally, how they're set up is absolutely terrific. As the ball's moving around from Aberdeen, you can see the St Mirren players, they're waiting to go. They've worked on it. Stephen Robinson is a stickler for his team being organised and understand when you press and when you don't press and when you go in 1s, 2s and 3s. And you can see them when they're ready to set. However, that exerts a lot of energy, Liam. Physically and mentally, it exerts a lot of energy. You've got to be on the ball. You've got to be able to cover the distance. I'm not too sure he's got the subs to come on and replicate the players who are on. He's got 1 or 2 who may be able to do it. Whereas you look at Aberdeen, the longer the game goes, and if St Mirren come off or someone's a little bit tired or fatigued and they don't make up that distance, they're not aligned as a team and pressing St Mirren, Aberdeen can pick them off. And that's where the likes of Keskinen and Duke and Kevin Nisbet, I have to say there was 3 of them out warming up at half-time. Duke's gone in, Kevin Nisbet's gone in, I think is it Palversa possibly also could be going in. So there may well be changes from Aberdeen at half-time. St Mirren will have to try and maintain that intensity. Can they, is going to be the big question.
I'll be surprised if Jamie McGrath comes back out for the second half. I mean, nothing personal against his performance. I think Aberdeen have kind of been off the boil in that first half, which is easy to do in these freezing conditions. McGrath got that book in just towards the end of the first half. He's just come back from that minor op. Just wonder if that made Jimmy Tillene's decision for him. We shall keep an eye on that one. But on St Mirren, you know, unbeaten in 3, won 2 of them. They'd lost 4 on the bounce before that. It was just 1 win in 12. It's fair to say they've shaken off the cobwebs of the early season, the European matches. They started the season so well in Europe. They thrashed Hibs here, went completely off form for a couple of months there, and just it seems to have coincided with Stephen Robinson signing the new deal. You know, he's got that kind of solid shape back. He's got, as you said during the first half, the recognised 11 are out there for him, most of whom did such a good job for him last season.
As a manager, sometimes you think you can bring better players, and you always believe you can bring better players in. And I think Stephen tried to change the mindset of what people thought about St Mirren as a team. He tried to bring in more footballers who maybe lacked that energy and that desire and that willingness to go and press and harry and win the ball like his team are doing today. You can add 1 or 2, Liam, and you can do that. I think he recognised he went too far. And actually they became a soft team to play against. Because you ask people over the past 2 seasons what St Mirren are like, people use the word horrible. It's a difficult game. You never get it easy. St Mirren became an easy team to play against. And Stephen thought, after they lost 4-0 against Hearts, that was a turn point. I spoke to him since and he said, I had enough. He went back to the players that he knew, he went back to the players that he trusted, and he thought, I know what they're going to give me. And Killian Phillips was he's the only outfield player that they signed over the summer who's starting in this team. Yeah. And he said, Killian Phillips is my type of player because he can go and press, he can put the opposition under pressure, he can win the ball, he can carry the ball, he's physically strong, he can win tackles. He's a decent footballer, but sometimes that gets overlooked. And sometimes St Mirren get overlooked for being a decent football team because they think of physicality and they think of power. So I think that's clever management. That's an experienced manager who knows how to arrest a run of results by going back to something he's tried and tested before and something he's used to. When you look at younger managers, and I'm not going to name any, but you look at younger managers who don't have that experience and are struggling to turn things around, are struggling to put their team back on track. They don't really know from past experiences or evidence because they don't have that. Stephen has it and he's put it to practice. Listen, there's only half time in this game, but the improvement in St Mirren in the last 5 weeks has been phenomenal.
Yeah, I remember watching Killian Phillips playing for Aberdeen against Celtic, one of his first games when he arrived on loan last season, and he covered every blade of grass. He ran himself into the ground. I think the match finished 1-1, but he was excellent on the day, and he's clearly got that about him, and he's an identical Stephen Robinson player. Just he loves the battle. He's big, he's strong, and he offers other things as well. As a good passer of the ball. The Aberdeen supporters wish he could finish a bit better than he does, because they might have been in the Scottish Cup final last season had he done so. But looking at Aberdeen's performance today, Stephen, I mentioned this a few times in the first half and earlier in the programme, they're a second half team. They've been much better in the second half of games. Jimmy Tilline's substitutions they've borne spectacular fruit this season. We saw Bazoun and Nisbet combining against Dundee. Nisbet scored one as well. Nisbet scored late on in Dingwall. We saw Palaversa score the winner against Hearts. We saw Peter Ambrose score the winner against Dundee United. His substitutions, Shade Morris against Rangers, of course, his substitutions tend to be on point. They're going to have to be today, aren't they?
I think that will be privately a growing frustration for the manager, that it always has to be him that has to inject something into the team. The reason why he puts the players in from the start is, one, they've earned it, and two, he's expecting a performance from them. So that'll be a frustrating factor for him. However, the players coming off the bench, absolutely, if you're making an impact, but there's going to come a time where the game's going to be so far away from you that you can't get back. They got away with it at Celtic Park. They managed to turn it around the second half and they were brilliant.
It was another one. Sockler came off the bench and got the comeback going.
But when they played against Celtic, they were too far ahead. They couldn't chase them down. So that's all good and well, but he will want this team to be at it from the start. St Mirren, as I say, may tire a little bit in the second half. So when you bring on the fresh legs and the fresh pace that Aberdeen have on the bench, they may just pick holes in St Mirren a little bit more. But there's no doubt there's more to come from them. It's as if they've turned up today and they've thought, we have a style of play, so we'll just play about and we'll pass it about. There's another side to the game, and that's playing with intensity and playing with purpose. And it's not always the perfect game, and you're not always going to dictate possession and dominate the ball and be as productive as you want to be. Sometimes you've got to mix it up. You've got to throw it forward. You've got to win second balls, and you've got to play a little bit more like St Mirren at times, and then use your quality when you get into those areas in the final third.
It's just the second time they've not scored the opening goal in a game in the league this season, Aberdeen. The only other example was that one at Celtic Park, which they ultimately came back and got a draw in. The only other time they've been behind in the league this season was against Hearts at Pittodrie. You might remember Frankie Kent and Blair Spittle overturned a 1-0 deficit to Keskinen, and then Devlin scored pretty quickly after Spittle's goal, and Palaversa popped up with that winner. But just underline how long this Aberdeen run has been going, and since March they are 20 league games unbeaten. They've won, I think it's at 17 of those. The club record's 30, which they set between March and December 1980. It was ended by Morton at Capello. So, this is a long-standing unbeaten run. I mean, the best part of a year now. I mean, we're nearly in December. That's been going since they lost against Dundee at Dens Park. And Peter Leven had taken the reins by this point, and he admitted after that game that they were in trouble. They were just hovering above the relegation playoff position at that point. The turnaround at Aberdeen has been spectacular, and they need another one of those turnarounds if they're not going to lose this one.
Well, it's interesting, that game. I watched that game, and I just thought Peter Leven going home that night's probably thinking, get a new manager in ASAP, relieve me of this, because they were so poor that night. But clearly something he said and something he'd done has rejuvenated them, and they've kicked on and they've pushed on. But absolutely, what happens is when you're winning games and people are giving you credit, which they absolutely are, and they're unbeaten in the league to this stage, teams are going to raise their game. They're going to play slightly differently against you. They're not going to allow you to dictate the play and dominate the ball. They're going to really take the game to you and realise playing against Aberdeen is probably how now teams would normally play against Rangers and Celtic. They're going to give them so much respect, as in they're that good, then they're going to have to be different. And players are raising the game. And you can see that this afternoon. St Mirren have been good in some games, even since that 4-0 defeat against Hearts. Some of the performances have been good. That's as good as I can remember in that opening 45 minutes, because there's a good crowd behind the goal. It's a lovely evening for it. They know they have to be at their best, or the Aberdeen quality will punish them. So that's what Aberdeen are going to come up against. But they've done it time and time again, Liam. You've said it. They've won the games differently. They've had to dig in. They've managed games. They've scored late goals. Substitutes have come on. So this game is not a foregone conclusion.
Stephen did say it's a lovely night for it. And it has actually turned out to be a decent night for football.
As a player. I used to love these nights. These were the ones that lights were on, a little bit of mist in the air, greased on the pitch. Fans are in good voice. This is the night you want to play.
And I'll get Stephen a little bit excited here, because Zach Robinson's pulled one back for Motherwell and Dingwall against Ross County, who continue to lead 2-1 going into the very closing stages of that one. St Johnstone still 1-0 up on Kilmarnock, who have had to suffer yet another red card, and this time it's Liam Donnelly who's picked up 2 yellows. So disciplinary problems have been neutering Derek McInnes's hopes this season of another top 6 finish, perhaps even another European finish. Liam Donnelly this time sent off as the Aberdeen players make their way back out onto the pitch. Kevin Nisbet's coming on. No surprise that Jimmy Tillene's making at least the one change. Will it just be the one? McGrath's come back out for the second half. Slightly surprised about that, as Nisbet waits on the touchline, so it might just be the one change, and it may well just be Nisbet for Sockler. We saw the impact Nisbet made from the bench against Dundee. Within seconds he set up Vinny Bozowen for Aberdeen's third, just after Dundee had pulled one back. Get back in the game, and they'll be getting back underway at Ibrox shortly, where Dundee United have a surprise 1-0 lead at the interval. So Duke's coming on as well, so double change. Leighton Clarkson off, and Duke comes on. Nisbet will be on for Sockler, so a double change for Aberdeen, and I think that probably tells you how satisfied Jimmy Tillene was with that first half performance, and they're back out well before the Saints players too, as the referee and the hosts make their way back out now. Going to protect that 1-0 lead. So the second half will continue here on BBC Radio Scotland with Sports Sound on 810 medium wave, on digital, and at bbc.co.uk/sportscotland. On BBC Radio Scotland Extra, if it is Rangers Dundee United you want, with United leading 1-0, that's on FM and Sounds. And of course we've still got Dundee Hibs to come at 6:15, and Hearts Celtic to come at 7:45. And as it stands, Celtic will have a chance to open up some daylight for the first time this season, really, unless Aberdeen can turn this around. It's not beyond them, but it's going to take an almighty effort and a ground they haven't won at in the league for 6 years, as they are to do so. Jamie McGrath will have the first touch of the second half. Aberdeen all in red with white and grey flashes, going left to right towards their own fans in this second half. St Mirren in the black and white stripes will shoot right to left. And John Beaton, the referee, gets the second half underway. McGrath back to Nielsen, who goes back to Shinnie. It'll be interesting to see if Jimmy Tillene's tinkering has the desired effect again, Stephen.
Well, it's interesting. I always feel Jamie McGrath is a better player when he's in the middle of the pitch, whether he's one of the midfield two, where Graham Shinnie or Siebert Nielsen will play, or he plays in that number 10 role where Leighton Clarkson started in the game. He's now moved into there, which has allowed Duke to go on that left-hand side. So the pace in the attack with Duke and Shane Morris will be a real thorn in the side of St Mirren.
Duke has it, slips it in behind, chance for Aberdeen with Nisbet, left-hand side of the box, he waits, it's McKenzie, shoots, blocked by Balcombe. Balcombe did well, but that's a good start to the second half by Aberdeen, and a brilliant run down the left-hand side by Jack McKenzie.
Well, Duke actually comes in the pitch and draws a couple of players to him. It frees up Jack McKenzie to go round the outside of Bomono. It's a perfectly weighted pass. Bomono, he shouldn't allow the ball up his inside shoulder, but once Jack McKenzie's there, he cuts inside, he goes for the strike. I think Balcombe gets down low, sticks it between his legs, but that's the perfect positive start to the second half that the Aberdeen fans want and Jimmy Tillene demands.
Aberdeen have it. It's played back to their goalkeeper by Malloy. Mitov pushes it into the midfield for Shinnie, then back out to Malloy on the left-hand side. A long ball by Malloy. He was asking too much of Devlin there. He's put it straight onto the chest of Tanzer. Tanzer looking to slip it through to Olasanya. A little dummy, and it almost broke kindly for McMenamin in behind the defender. Aberdeen have it on the left with Duke. Luis Lopez infield to Nielsen. Not a great ball by Nielsen, but he does get it to Shinnie, back to the Norwegian, who was the captain of Brandbergen, who faced St Mirren in Conference League qualifying back in the late summer. Here's Rubidzic, forward towards Nisbet, touch in field was straight to Phillips though. Now it's back with Alex Gogic. It's in another excellent game. A luminous coloured ball out there as well after the snow, which was brushed to the side over the course of a few hours, led to the delayed kickoff, kicked off at 4 this one, as Duke passes it back infield. It's not a great ball, and Malloy struggles to get there ahead of Olasanya, but does. And now it's with Shinnie. Shinnie then switches it out to the left there for Nielsen. Nielsen's little ball forward to McGrath, back to Nielsen, who finds Malloy, forward to McGrath. McGrath driving it forward, cut out by Bomono though. Duke comes to meet him. Duke wins it back. The ref didn't like the challenge. To say that looks a pretty harsh decision by John Beaton. Duke's got his head in his hand. St Mirren have the free kick, which they've taken quickly through Fraser. Saints come down the right with McMenamin facing Malloy. As Aberdeen continue to protest, it's a ball dinked into the area, flicked on towards goal by Kiltie, and it's a comfortable take for Dimitar Mitov. Nothing St Mirren.
Yeah, I think Aberdeen have showed much more intent even beginning of the second half. You can tell by the intensity of their passing. There's still a little bit of sloppiness. You're talking about Gavin Malloy. He's trying to play a diagonal ball in his own half, which is only going to encourage Scott Tanser and the fellow St Mirren players to go and really be aggressive and press it. Sometimes shorten your pass in your own half, and in the opposition's half, can you hit longer ones and go? But definitely Aberdeen have had a word in their ear, shall we say, from Jimmy Tulin.
Devlin rolls it low out to Shayden Morris on the near side up against Tanser. This time the full-back reacts well and blocks it as he tried to take him on. Tanser has it, rolls it back to O'Hara. Back to the left angle of his own box for Taylor, who sweeps it clear, high towards Olasanya, who flicks on. And Malloy with a challenge. Olasanya's gone down. He stayed down for now. He's trying to get back to his feet. Here's McKenzie for Aberdeen, and now Nielsen in the centre circle. Rolls it to McGrath. Down the left-hand touchlines, Duke. McGrath continues his run. Rolls it out to Duke on that far side. Infield to McKenzie at the left angle of the box. Back to Duke. Nielsen moves into the area. Still Duke has it. Going to take on his man, drives towards the bylines, good play, gets the cross ball back, Nisbet behind the goal, and then with the shot from McGrath, he scores! It fell behind Nisbet, but broke kindly for Jamie McGrath, and the former St Mirren midfielder fires it into the bottom left corner, and now it's the Aberdeen supporters behind the goal there who celebrate. St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 1.
I did say that Aberdeen had started the second half with much more intent, much more purpose in their play going forward. Duke does really well. You talk about bringing on the subs and having the desired effect. Does really well to get to the byline. It comes back to Kevin Nisbet, who's about 14 yards out. Completely misses his kick. But fortunately for him, it falls to Jamie McGrath. The former St Mirren player just composes himself, take one touch and just slots it into the bottom right-hand corner. Now the game is alive. Sculpted
by Duke, half-time sub. The substitute has come up with the goods for the Aberdeen manager again. Really good play, driving down the left. Nisbet was involved. That'll go down, I would imagine, as a Kevin Nisbet assist, even though he's trying to shoot for goal himself. It was just behind him, which made it a very difficult chance for him. And it dropped kindly for McGrath, and it was a calm, measured finish into the bottom left corner. St Mirren, meantime, have got a free kick as they look to get their noses back in front immediately. On the left, Tanser has it, level with the edge of the D of the Aberdeen box. You'll see you're at your most vulnerable when you've just scored, and it comes, headed half away. Breaks to O'Hara, out to Phillips, wide on the right, takes a touch, back onto his left side. Rolls it back the way, in comes the cross ball. Nielsen heads it back out to the far side. McGrath was pushed. It's a cheap one from Phillips, and that's a free kick to Aberdeen. Because Phillips got onto the ball anyway. It'll be a free kick over on that far side of their own penalty area for Aberdeen, who are back on level terms. Stephen Craigan.
Great response then from St Mirren, isn't it? Which just kind of firms up what I said at half-time. It's been breathless, this game. It's been one team attacking, the other team attacking. There's no doubt St Mirren had the better of the first half, but this Aberdeen team aren't unbeaten for no reason, Liam. They've got something about them, they've got an edge to them. They feel as if they have to perform better than what they did in the first half, and already in the opening 6 minutes of the second half they have.
Yeah, Jamie McGrath striking, fourth of the season for him. Former top scorer for St Mirren. Scored a few penalties that campaign, I seem to remember, as Aberdeen struggle to deal with Olasanya again, who has it right hand side of the box. They're going to shoot, he does, it's over the bar. No touch from the keeper. He wasn't caring about the fact he'd 3 or 4 red shirts around him, Toyosi Olasanya, as he drove into the box, drove for goal, over the bar, into the stand. Saints 1, Aberdeen 1, almost on 52.
There's just been a few nervy moments between Gavin Malloy and Rubicic, whether it's just misunderstanding or lack of passes. The goal probably typifies it in the first half, and I think St Mirren have caught on to that. And if they can get the ball to Olasanya a little bit more with a bit of quality and can face them up and get at them, he can pose them problems, more problems.
Duke for Aberdeen on the left-hand side, looking for the big switch for Morris. Tanser will get his head onto it though. Nods it down the line. Here is Devlin, knocks it forward to Nisbet, and he can't control, and Richard Taylor is onto it, and he clears it out wide right here. McMenamin's got a chance to run. McKenzie was out of position. Here down the right comes McMenamin, level with the Aberdeen 18-yard line, looking to take McKenzie on. McKenzie standing his ground. Strong defending from the Aberdeen left back. The St Mirren fans want a free kick that's not coming. It's Aberdeen in possession. I don't even think Stephen Robinson was appealing for that one. Fans always will, though.
That's when you know it's not a free kick, when your own manager's not appealing for it. Just get up and get on with it.
Stephen Robinson's not appealing for it.
Just get up and get on with it.
There's Rubizic for Aberdeen, rolls it out to Devlin on this near side. We'll run you through the other scores in just a moment. They're deep into stoppage time in Dingwall and Perth, with Ross County and St Johnstone still leading against Motherwell and Kilmarnock respectively. Rangers still trailing at home to Dundee United. 1-1 here. McGrath with a good challenge in the midfield. He's managed to pick out McKenzie on the left as well. It's a little bonus for him. Not a great ball by Jack McKenzie though. Kiltie has it now in the centre circle. Down goes Kiltie, no free kick. This time Stephen Robinson is furious that he's not getting that one. Here's McGrath on the left for Aberdeen, and he rolls it to the touchline for McKenzie and infield to Nielsen. Nielsen down the left, McGrath, it's a low ball looking for Nisbet, half away, breaks Duke's way across the face, blocked by Taylor, and then swept clear by Fraser. It's been much, much better from Aberdeen, the second half team this season, and so far it's following that exact trajectory. 1-1 almost on 54.
They've been really good, you have to say. A real upturn in performance. The manager once again at half-time has made the substitutions. Just having that pace of Duke, that threat, his ability to eliminate opponents and get at them, poses the opposition problems. He's brought a real edge to it. I think in the first half, Jimmy McGrath, he's a different type of player on the left-hand side. He's not going to run beyond people. So now they've got Morris on the right who can run. They've got Duke on the left who can run. They've got dynamism. They've got running power, and that is posing St Mirren problems.
Victory for St Johnstone. Mackenzie Kirk with the only goal of the game. They have beaten Kilmarnock 1-0 in Perth, and that nudges them a point clear of Killie in the bottom half of the table. Sainties up to 8th. Here come Aberdeen down the left with Duke driving against Gogic here. Left angle of the penalty area. Still it is Duke. Tries to pass it back. Comes off a St Mirren defender. Breaks kindly for Sivert Nielsen. We'll switch it out to Devlin on this far side. Devlin's ball forward is easily cut out by Taylor though. Taylor leaves it for Tanzer. He turns into trouble. He's turned into Shinnie. He wins it back for Aberdeen, but it bounces off Taylor and out for an Aberdeen throw. And listen to the roar from the Aberdeen supporters as well. They're into a 13th minute of stoppage time in Dingwall. Ross County 2, Motherwell 1. And it's going to be a throw in for Nicky Devlin over on the far side. Finish there now. Dingwall 2-1 Ross County. Throw in Aberdeen comes to nothing on the near side and goes behind for a St Mirren goal kick. 10 into the second half, 1-1. It's a different game now.
It is, and it's just as enjoyable as what it was in the first half. It's two teams really going at it. Aberdeen, you feel as if they have the momentum now. I said to you about the energy that St Mirren exert and how they press and how they play. It catches up with you for spells, and that's when you have to try and manage those spells, but Aberdeen aren't allowing them to settle and get a breather. Their intensity, their intent, their drive, everything about them is trying to force Aberdeen back at every opportunity. You think in the first half, Jack McKenzie and Nicky Devlin were hardly over the halfway line. Now they're playing a much more pivotal point in this second half.
If you see McKenzie and Devlin up the pitch, then Aberdeen are on top in the game. There's no question about that. That goes out of play off McKenzie's head for a St Mirren throw-in just inside the Aberdeen half on the far side. The Saints bench here, Minsky's the sub goalie, Ayunga, Smith, Mandron, Adowu, Boyd Muntz, John Kenny and Penman. Aberdeen took on Nisbet and Duke at the break. They've also got Duan, Polvara for the first time this season, McGarry, Bazawan, Palaversa, Milne and Keskin. And here comes St Mirren down the right. It's pulled across the Aberdeen box, but it's gathered by Mitov in his 6-yard line. Nervy little moment. It's good play by St Mirren down that right hand side. Conor McMenamin involved, and Aberdeen have it back, and it's played out to Duke on the far side. And he's certainly given Marcus Fraser and Elvis Bomono something to think about over on that Aberdeen left and St Mirren right defensive section of the pitch.
The thing is, in the first half, Bomono and Marcus Fraser knew Jamie McGrath wasn't going to run away from them, so they could be over aggressive. They sometimes probably play in front of him. But now Duke has given them a completely different headache. If they stand in front of him or they give him space, he's going to punish them.
Jay Henderson, formerly of this parish, Azure United 1-0 up on Dunfermline in the Championship. And that 5 o'clock kick-off in League One at Links Park. Montrose goalless with Annan. Just 14 minutes into that one though. It's kicking off around 5. And it's Mitov. Plenty time to roll it just outside his box there for Malloy. Forward there, it comes to Nielsen and back to Shinnie. Well, with Rangers losing at home to Dundee United, Aberdeen have an opportunity, if it stays that way, and there's a long way to go in this one as there is that one, Aberdeen could potentially, if they win this, open up a 12-point lead over Rangers, which would be quite incredible. St Mirren will have plenty to say, as Rangers will, of course, trailing Dundee United 1-0. Thanks to that Sam Dolby goal. Coverage of that continues on FM and sounds here on digital, extra 810 medium wave. It's 1-1 and it's Aberdeen on the ball on that left-hand side. McGrath infield to McKenzie, rolls it back into his own half for Malloy, who finds Shinnie just inside the centre circle. Very interesting final half hour or so of this one. We're 2 minutes shy of the hour at the moment. As Morris rolls it in field to Shinnie. Now back to Rubitic. He finds Nielsen under pressure from Phillips, who was all over him. He gets it back to Rubitic. He finds Mitov. Mitov's long ball forward, aimed for Duke, is going to come through to Pomono. And he'll go back to his goalkeeper. Balcom couldn't really do much about the McGrath goal. McGrath's finish was excellent. You always fancy Jamie McGrath when he gets into that kind of position. And he's going to do the business, albeit his most recent attempt at it was a penalty against Rangers, which was poor. Here's Devlin down the right for Aberdeen, bends the cross ball in, and it goes well behind for the goal kick, and he was looking to replicate what John Souttar did the other night when he picked out Andy Robertson. Devlin was on the goal line. I think the camera went straight to Nicky Devlin after Robertson's header found the net, which goes down in the annals. I'm sure he'll enjoy watching that one back. He came on for the second cap in Warsaw.
I just think Aberdeen now have ownership of the game. St Mirren imposed their style on the Aberdeen in the first half. Now it's Aberdeen imposing their style on the St Mirren in the second half. They're dictating proceedings, they're moving the ball better, they're finding spaces better. There's more space for them to work in, and they're utilising it. It's just getting into that final third. You see from Nicky Devlin, relax with the cross, trying to put too much on it, just guide it into the area.
Shinnie's in trouble in the midfield. O'Hara's onto it and try to drag him back there, and the yellow card's going to come out for Graham Shinnie for the tug on O'Hara. Now Aberdeen have a few midfielders on the cusp of picking up a suspension because of the accumulation of yellow cards. Shinnie, funnily enough, hasn't been one of them recently. He's normally one of the most booked players. Nielsen and Palaversa are close to the suspensions as St Mirren pick up down the right. Dink ball into the box, headed away by Malloy. Morris can't get onto it. There's a shot from the edge of the area from Marcus Fraser, which 99 times out of 100 when Marcus Fraser hits it from there, it goes where it did, and that's Rose Ed. It stays 1-1. Played an hour.
So you're telling me he scored from that distance once?
He must have done.
He must have done. Well, not in his professional career, maybe at some stage. Like I don't. I'm
not sure how many shots at goal he's actually hit from outside the box in his professional career. That was one of them, and it was nowhere near the target. It is one apiece here in drizzly Renfrewshire. Aberdeen have it wide on the left with McKenzie. Infield to Nielsen. Now McGrath, who finds Shinnie. Spread out to Devlin.
So I think the Aberdeen bench are trying to force the ball out to Shayden Morris. Peter Leven's shouting at people. He hasn't had enough of the ball in the second half.
He's barely touched it. He's going to touch it here though. Is he onside? This flag stays down. Morris to Devlin, fires it back towards the penalty spot, but it's cleared by Phillips and away by Tanser. It certainly does feel as though there's a momentum swing in this match. Here's Morris for Aberdeen, darting in field. Out to the left-hand side, it goes for McKenzie. Left angle of the box. McKenzie back in his right side, back to Sivert Nielsen. He rolls it back to Shinnie. St Mirren with everyone bar Lasagna behind the ball. Here's Nielsen to the edge of the box. It's McGrath who sets himself and shoots wide of the left-hand post. And it stays St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 1. And once again, it's a second-half Aberdeen performance that could yet yield them points from this match.
Excellent position from Jamie McGrath. That's why I like him playing in that role. He starts up against central defenders. The minute Aberdeen have the ball, he wants to pop off in front of them. Defenders don't normally like going in short. He takes a lovely first touch. He fizzes it towards goal, but that's just a warning shot across the brow of the St Mirren defenders. If you allow him to get off you and turn and lift his head, he can score from distance.
Long ball forward from Balcom into the midfield, helped on its way by Kiltie. Malloy with the ball forward. He cut it out. St Mirren have it back with Pomono over on the far side. Just wonder how much longer Stephen Robinson waits before he makes a change. Look like they could be doing with a freshening up, but here's Scott Tanser down the left. Early balling's a good one, and it's met by McKenzie, who takes no chances and hoists it behind for a St Mirren corner. It stays 1-1 in Paisley.
It's a brilliant cross, excellent delivery from Scott Tanzer, but I don't understand why Conor McMenamin is about 8 yards behind Jack McKenzie. The minute the ball's getting crossed from the opposite side of the pitch, as a wide man, you have to try and get across your defender. If you do so, you get a nick. If it goes over your head, well, it's not your fault. So I have to say, though, good positioning, Jack McKenzie.
Chance here then for St Mirren. O'Hara's corner on this near side. More changes coming for Aberdeen, but it's St Mirren with the corner. It's very deep towards the back stick. Phillips wins the header, but he puts it straight at Mitov, who's looking for an option to hit in the counter here. Might get one from Shinnie. It's a long ball forward there. Graham Shinnie driving after it down the left-hand side. He's done well. He's on to it. He checks his run, pulls it back, and then launches it forward looking for Nisbet. And Alex Gogic is there to prevent it getting through to the Aberdeen number 9. And St Mirren have it on this left-hand side with Kilty. It's on a knife edge, this game right now. 1-1.
Well, it is, and both managers will be looking for an individual or a passage of play, someone to step up with a little bit of quality that can put themselves in front, because I think the next goal in this game will be absolutely crucial. It puts a wee bit more pressure on the team that concedes it, and as you said it, Liam, I think it looks like Aberdeen, they have the ascendancy, they're moving forward all the time, but just every now and again, St Mirren just throw a little counter punch and let Aberdeen know they're still here.
Palaversa and Keskinen are being readied for Aberdeen, but here comes St Mirren. Kilty dancing up to the edge of the box, into the area, chance! Saved by Mitov! What a chance for McMenamin, it really should be 2-1 St Mirren. In comes the cross, it's still alive, flicked away by Rubizic. Saints keep coming. Phillips, Olisanya left-hand side, can't find the target, and the frustration, the anguish on the face of Stephen Robinson down there as he turns away from the pitch. It stays Saints 1, Aberdeen 1. That was a huge chance for McMenamin at the back post area as Rangers equalise against Dundee United at Ibrox.
What a passage of play. Greg Kilty was the architect. Edge of the box, quick feet, moving the ball. Bumono ended up being the centre forward. He got in there, and sometimes as a defender when you're there, you make a poor decision, but he doesn't. He sees Conor McMenamin. I think he has to lift the ball. He goes low, tries to go through Dimitar Mitov. It's a huge save and a big moment in the game. Just what I was saying, an individual piece of brilliance or a passage of play. Well, the individual piece of brilliance came from Mitov to keep it at 1-1.
Rubizic for Aberdeen finds Shinnie. Shinnie runs into trouble, it bounces off Kilty and out for a throw into St Mirren on this near side. Come off Shinnie, last is the assistant. David McGeechy on this near side. Kilty over the throw, midway inside the Aberdeen half. It's been a good couple of minutes for St Mirren. They've stemmed the tide slightly. Keskinen waiting to come on down below us, and I'm sure I saw Palaversa get ready as well. Václav Černý got the Rangers equaliser incidentally at Ibrox against Dundee United. Here's Olisanya for St Mirren up the edge of the box, and he shoots well wide the left-hand side of the D, and that will be a goal kick to Aberdeen, who will make those two changes now. Keskinen, the second most expensive signing in Aberdeen history, behind only Paul Bernard, as Shinnie picks up for the Dons and rolls it out to the left-hand side for McKenzie. Duke ahead of him. McKenzie uses him as a decoy. He continues to drive forward. Now he plays it into the path of Duke on that left-hand side. He wins the corner. Good positive play by McKenzie and Duke down the left. And it draws an Aberdeen corner as this game goes from one end to the other. 1-1 on 66.
Jack McKenzie's made great strides in the game, not just in that move, hasn't he? He looks like a player full of confidence. He's fulfilling the potential that Aberdeen thought he had. And once he gets a space in front of him, he opens that rangy stride of his lane, and he's very difficult to stop.
Jimmy Tillene waiting to make the changes till after this corner. Flighted in by McGrath. It's a high loopy one. Nielsen gets his head to it, and he heads it well wide, although there's a head knock between Nielsen and the man who was trying to make the challenge, and they're both on the deck, so there will be physios on to make sure those two are okay. I'm not sure which St Mirren player it was.
I think it's Olisanya.
Yeah,
I think it is, yeah. It actually looked as if Sivert Nielsen was going to get the ball first, and Olisanya just popped up in front of him, headed the ball out for another corner kick, I think it is, and then the clash came in from Sivert Nielsen. Just a footballing incident, Liam, where two players are going for the ball.
Yeah, although I would say that Olisanya was behind Nielsen when he made the challenge on the Norwegian who'd got goal side, which is what the Aberdeen supporters are complaining about. So full times, Ross County 2, Motherwell 1, Hale and Nisbet with the goals. Robinson's counter wasn't enough for Motherwell. They'll have to come back down the long journey down the A9 tonight with defeat 2-1 Ross County, and it was 1-0 St Johnstone against Kilmarnock. That Mackenzie, Kirk, Liam Donnelly sent off for Killie, their latest red card of the season. Rangers 1, Dundee United 1. They are run about the same time in the game as this one is. And Nielsen's going to be replaced here by Palaversa. That may well have been happening regardless of this head knock. So Sam Dalby's goal cancelled out by Czerny. Final quarter of that one, final quarter of this one. It is also poised at 1-1. 5:45 kick-off at Dens. Dundee Hibernian. That'll be getting underway very soon indeed. And we will get to commentary of that one as soon as this game and the one at Ibrox is done. The Dundee lineup: Carson, Portales, Robertson, Kimiteo, McGee, Mulligan, Silla, Cameron, Robertson, Palmer, Holden and Murray leading the line for them. For Hibs, Bursic in goal, Cadden, Bushiri, O'Hara, Obita, Campbell, Triantis, Newell, Kukarevich, Cadden, Johan, and that is the starting 11s for the match at Dens, which kicks off in just over 15 minutes. Hearts Celtic to come at 7:45. So Keskinen on for Shayden Morris. By the looks of things, Stephen, he couldn't really get in the game in the second half.
No, whether they weren't getting the ball to him enough or whether he wasn't going looking for the ball. But that's now Aberdeen changed half their outfield team. And you probably think it's made them stronger. So that tells you the squad that Jimmy Tilleen has built, the competitiveness, the edge that they have, the quality they have, that St Mirren haven't changed the player yet. So you'd imagine all the energy is now with the visitors.
Aberdeen have it down the left. Nielsen certainly seems to be struggling. He's hobbling down this left-hand touchline as Aberdeen come with Duke down the left flank. He claims he was fouled. The ref agrees. Pomono complains. And John Beaton agrees with the Aberdeen winger. And this is a free kick over on that left-hand side touchline, about level with the Saints' 18-yard line, heading towards the final 20 of 90. Still plenty time for one of these sides to win this. And Aberdeen are going to get a chance here from this free kick. It's over on the far side though, but we know the quality of Jamie McGrath, whose goal cancelled out the Olasanya opener in the first half. McGrath stands and waits over the free kick. Now he'll deliver with the right foot, and it comes. Devlin tries to leap, it breaks back towards Shinnie from Taylor's header. Shinnie trying to keep it alive. He's lost out though to Taylor, but picked up by Palaversa, who finds Mackenzie square out to McGrath, who'll go back to Mitov. Dangerous little moment. A lot of these, Shinnie's game, he does this a lot. He tries to, when he's got his back to goal, he tries to spin. A lot of that's not been coming off for him today. And that was in a dangerous position, but that's an even more dangerous position. Tanger's giving it straight to Devlin, right hand side of the box. Devlin dancing into the area, pulls it back, and is blocked by the defender. And away it goes. It was Marcus Fraser who was in the right place, and out it goes for an Aberdeen throw-in on this near side. It stays 1-1. Frantic stuff at times.
Yeah, it is. It's Scott Tanzer who needlessly gave the ball away. It presented it to Nicky Devlin, and he just drove into the heart of that St Mirren back line, pulls it back lovely. But you talk about the experience and the reading of the game. Marcus Fraser it was this time, right position.
Devlin trying to find Keskinen, cut out by Tanzer. He goes back to Balcom, who clears first time. Long ball forward. Rubizic finds McGrath, and then Palaversa to the left for Mackenzie. Aberdeen have been efficient all season. They haven't had too many games when they've peppered the opponent's goal with chances, but they've taken their opportunities generally when they've come along as Mackenzie's cross is cleared. Good take by McMenamin, and he's driven away from Gavin Malloy off Alasanya's heel, and it will bounce straight to Palaversa, and a yellow card coming out. I think he's going to bring it back for a foul by Gavin Malloy there as he tried to tug back McMenamin. He completely did him there, didn't he? 1-1 here in Paisley.
I tell you what, it's a brilliant touch. He just opens the play up for himself. He rolls the ball into Olasanya. He's actually in. He's running towards goal if Olasanya can play him in. And that's when Gavin Malloy just gave him a little tug. He pulled his arm back, stopped McMenamin getting forward. He knew he had to do it. Aberdeen were caught out. St Mirren were on their counter-attack. But this game, it's been terrific. I've really, really enjoyed it. And it would take a brave person to call it with, 19 minutes to go plus out of time, or 18 minutes to go plus out of time. Yeah. Who's going to win it?
St Mirren free kick. Now they're going to have an opportunity. Mark O'Hara over it to the right of the centre circle. Long ball into the Aberdeen box, won by Gogic. Flicks towards goal, but it's an easy take for Mitov, who will bowl it low to his left for Shinnie, who passes it back in field for Mackenzie. And finds Rubizic. Now Devlin. Will be a share of the spoils here. Can one of these sides go on and win it? There's a draw and a St Mirren win here last season. St Mirren also won 3-0 at Pittodrie. Aberdeen have changed a lot since those days, and here's Keskinen. Different challenge for Tanser down the right. It's away from Tanser, driving into the penalty area. Topi Keskinen tries to reverse it towards goal. It's blocked, but it's back to McGrath, who gets it all wrong. And his left foot effort is shanked well wide of the left-hand side of the goal frame. And it stays St Mirren 1, Aberdeen 1. Saints change, Mikael Mandron coming on.
Yeah, I think that's just to give a bit more of a physical presence to get up the pitch. They have the ploy of going over the top and using the pace of Olasanya, but sometimes it doesn't always work. So I think Olasanya will come on, or play on the right-hand side. McMenamin's coming off, and Mandron will be the centre forward to try and get a hold of the ball to allow his team to get up the pitch a bit more.
Well, Rangers had the ball in the net for a second time, well, third time actually, because of course they had one ruled out just before the break, but the second one counted through Czerny, but the third one hasn't, so it stays 1-1 in that match. Ayr United still 1-0 up on Dunfermline in the Championship. In the other match, it is in League One. We'll get to that in a moment, because St Mirren are driving down this left-hand side. Tanser beats Keskinen to it. Shinnie all over him. Still it's Tanser though. Tanser trying to hold off Shinnie, who battles back, comes off Shinnie, and out for a St Mirren throw-in on this near side. Level with the Aberdeen 6-yard line. Bolt towards the edge of the box. Aberdeen win it back though, and they have it with Jamie McGrath. Knocks it out to Keskinen, but he wasn't anticipating it behind him, and it was out for a throw-in on this near side. Still goalless, Montrose Annan in League One at Lynx.
Yeah, I think St Mirren have now changed to a 3-5-2. Possibly, or either that or Mandron is going to go and play where Conor McMenamin played. I'd be surprised at that. Maybe it's just a front two to try and upset the two central defenders, who I've already said this afternoon, Malloy and Rubicic, have had a few little moments.
Shinnie's ball forward's cut out, but it breaks kindly for Malloy. He'll roll it to his left for McKenzie, in field to Palaversa, who finds Shinnie. Knocks it out to Devlin on this near side. And then Topi Keskinen, he goes back to Devlin, and then finds Rubicic. And then back to Mitov. I'm hearing there's a delay to kick off at Dens, that Dundee Hibs game, and it's due to fog. So there will be at least a 10-minute delay to Dundee Hibs kicking off, which means there'll be no overlap. So if you're listening on the radio, you won't miss any of the action at Dens, assuming there's no ludicrous stoppage time as St Mirren come forward, and the effort at goal is saved by Mitov. Good play down the right-hand side. It was knocked towards Kilty in the box. He found himself in a brilliant position. Either side of Mitov, he's probably scoring. It was straight at the keeper. 15 to play, it stays 1-1.
Yeah, it's good play again by St Mirren this time. Bomono down that right-hand side. But there's been so many good passages of play from both sides. The interplay, the movement, the slickness. But you have to say the goalkeepers have been good, and the defenders at time have defended the positions well.
Well, Aberdeen have been better since the interval, but St Mirren have been the team with the better chances. And they've had two. Does that go in gilt-edge category, that one? The McMenamin one probably does.
I think Greg Kilty will be disappointed he hasn't made a cleaner contact with it. When the cross comes into him, there's not a lot of pace on it, so he's trying to guide it into the bottom corner. I think you guide it into the bottom corner when the ball's fizzed at you, whereas when the ball's played in a little bit less pace, you maybe have to go with your laces, a little bit more power, and he doesn't do that.
Both sets of supporters trying to get their teams going for a final push for the points. 14 plus stoppages left. One apiece. McGrath's ball sliced out to the near side. Tanser can't control. Keskinen's onto it. And fresher legs. Keskinen in field to Shinnie. Under pressure from O'Hara. Got to the ground by O'Hara. Free kick. And that's classic Shinnie, that one. The St Mirren coaching staff and the supporters don't agree. It was a foul. Shinnie knows exactly what he's doing there, though. Does it all the time.
No, I think it's because John Beaton just delayed for a split second and gave the St Mirren fans a little bit of hope that it wasn't a free kick, but it was.
There's Duke down the left-hand side. It comes off him last. Throw in Saints. Bomono won it. Bold forward there towards Mandron. Looks to find Olasanya. Rubicic is the covering player, and he's fouled, says the referee, to howls of derision from the home fans. Saints 1, Aberdeen 1, and it's getting a little bit nervy out there as we hurtle towards the business end. Richard Taylor with a header for St Mirren from the long ball into the midfield. Palaversa loses out to Mandron. It's now with Phillips, gets away from McKenzie, rolls it down the right hand side for Elvis. Bomono, Olasanya and Mandron waiting in the middle. In comes the ball, it bounces off Palaversa and goes behind for a St Mirren corner. And Phillips is trying to get the home fans going, waving his arms around frantically. as they look to get the lead back. What a piece in Paisley. The momentum's gone St Mirren's way in the last 5-10 minutes.
I was going to say, they've got a new lease of life. I know Stephen Robinson made a change. I don't think the change has anything to do with it. I think the players have just realised they've been through a tough spell. They've had to defend their box. They've had to play in counter-attacking football. But now they really believe they can go on and win the game, which has set it up nicely for us.
Corner St Mirren over on that far side. In swinger with the left foot. As they attack the goal to the left, it's driven in, flicked back towards the edge of the box by Mandron. Keskinen flicks it clear. Fraser decides to go all the way back to his keeper, to the groans of the St Mirren supporters who thought there was still an attacking opportunity there. It's back with Balcombe, long ball out to that right-hand side. Cut out by Duke, who wins it back for Aberdeen and drives forward. Saints again think that's a free kick. Duke has it. Rolls it infield to Palaversa. Now it's with Shinnie. Shinnie back out to Duke on that left flank, facing Fraser. Still it's Duke. Fraser stands his ground as well. Duke trying desperately to win it back for Aberdeen, but it's the veteran Fraser who emerges on top and clears with the right foot. He's been caught by Duke, and again the St Mirren supporters having a go at John Beaton, although he has given the free kick this time, and he's booked Duke as well. It's 1-1. We're almost on 79 minutes.
I think Duke was frustrated. He felt he should have had a free kick when him and Marcus Fraser came together. He doesn't get the free kick. Marcus Fraser wins the ball, clears the ball. Duke goes in to try and block it, but at the last minute he's not going to touch Marcus Fraser, but he lifts his studs. It would have been probably round about the thigh of Marcus Fraser. He doesn't make contact, but John Beaton has clearly recognised it's a moment of petulance. He's just letting him know that I was going to give you a little bit there. So John Beaton just knocked it in the head and has given him a yellow card.
Roland Idowu might be coming on shortly. So I'm making a little dart towards the home bench. We're in the 80th minute, 1-1. Mitov at one end, hoping to keep St Mirren at bay. Balcombe at the other end clears. Breaks into the midfield. There's Duke, he's done well. Held off Tanzer. Now Devlin, long ball forward. Nisbet heads it back down. Can't find Duke. Phillips instead. And now it's with Tanzer. Ayr United have beaten Dunfermline. It's finished 1-0 at Somerset. I'm going to hang on to the coattails of Falkirk. And Ayr United have had a troubled time just in the last little period, but they've won that one against Dunfermline. Ayr 1, Dunfermline 0. Here it's 1-1 to Ibrox. It's 1-1. Wins earlier for Ross County and for St Johnstone. Here is Mark O'Hara with a long ball looking for Mandron at the edge of the Aberdeen box. Malloy's header, but it's only broken to Pomono, right-hand side of the Aberdeen box, drives for goal and hits the side net. They've looked the more dangerous all afternoon, St Mirren. Is that fair? I don't think Balcombe's had much to do. He's picked the ball out the net from McGrath, but that Jimmy Tillin will be annoyed that the opposition goalkeeper has been pretty underworked all afternoon so far. Did
Balcombe have another one in the first half from a corner kick, a second phase of a corner kick he may have saved with his legs? But you're right, I think St Mirren have probably been more productive when it's came to clear-cut chances. Aberdeen at times have been better in the ball and have worked themselves into better positions, but the final pass or the final shot hasn't affected the goal. But I think both teams will be happy with their performances overall. Aberdeen eventually have got up to speed and they look much more dangerous in the second half, but St Mirren, they're still there for them if they keep pushing.
Aberdeen have actually had 70% of the ball, which is slightly surprising for us watching this from the back of the main stand. Shots on target, 3 for Aberdeen, 5 for St Mirren. It is on a knife edge as Aberdeen pick up on the left. Keskinen and Duke have switched flanks. Keskinen back to Shinnie and into his own half for Malloy, left of the centre circle. Jonah Ayunga is going to be on shortly. He scored against Aberdeen as well in the past. Duke infield to Palaversa. He took his eye off it and St Mirren have it back through Kilty. Fouled by Palaversa. Free kick St Mirren. Look like, again, it's one of those professional fouls that you expect a yellow card to follow. And St Mirren fans agree. As Olasanya, who's at the moment securing St Mirren a point. It'll just be the second team to take a point off Aberdeen this season so far, if they can see it out. And it will be Ayunga for Olasanya, who's just run out of gas.
Yeah, he had to. He put so much into the game, Liam, but you're talking about at this stage he's earned his team a point. But you think back to Aberdeen, the number of late goals that they've got. I think they scored late in Ross County, they scored late at home against Dundee United, possibly Hearts as well. Yeah. So there's still life left in this game, a lot of life.
Well, Aberdeen go to the end, there's no question, but St Mirren do too. As Mandron tries to get onto the edge of the box, St Mirren pick up the loose ball, and it's a wild slash at goal by Mandron, which goes wide, but it's taken a deflection, so it was worth the hit. And St Mirren have another corner on this near side.
I just think he adds a different dimension, even from set plays, Mikael Mandron. He attracts someone to him, which may free up another aggressive central defender to go and get on the end of it. And I think when you bring a Young on as well, just another physical body.
Mark O'Hara over the corner, in swinger, coming up with the right foot. Again, it's towards the back post, the header down and in! Richard Taylor buries the O'Hara corner! And then Aberdeen staring down the barrel of their first league defeat of the season at one of their least favourite venues. Taylor direct from O'Hara's corner, and it is St Mirren 2, Aberdeen 1 with 7 of the 90 to play.
Well, I was just saying about the presence of Mikael Mandron. He actually blocks Dimitar Mitov coming for the cross. He just stands in front of him. He's an obstacle. He can't get to it, and it allows Richard Taylor to come right over the top. And then by the time Mitov turns around, it's bounced off the hand of the goalkeeper, and he can't keep it out. So it's, what a goal, what a cross. And now Aberdeen, we've spoke about their spirit, we've spoke about them digging deep. They're going to have to do it once again.
Yeah, they've not got much time to play with. Vicente Bazouin's coming on. And Richard Taylor with the header. It's his first goal of the season. He wanted it the most. And as it stands, St Mirren are on the brink of 3 big points here and will extend their unbeaten run to 4 matches. Jamie McGrath is being replaced by Bazouin. Last throw of the dice for Tellene. His only defeat so far came in that League Cup semi-final against Celtic. And at the start of a challenging run of 4 fixtures, 3 away, 1 at home to the champions. They are behind with barely any time to play with. 5 of the 90 to go. And it's Malloy for Aberdeen. Down the left-hand side it goes. McKenzie over on the left flank.
That's their 6th substitution, so Sivert Nielsen must have come off
Concussion.
with concussion, which means it would rule him out off Wednesday, would it?
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to play Tuesday, Easter Road Tuesday, yeah.
And next weekend at Sandcastle.
Yeah, that's going to be a blow, albeit Palaversa isn't a bad replacement, but Aberdeen have more pressing issues than Easter Road and Tynecastle. It's here, and this wretched run in Paisley being extended potentially. Here's Duke down the left-hand side for Aberdeen. He's gone round the defender, looks up, gets the ball across. Has he won the corner? Yes, he has. It's not over yet. Aberdeen very much still in this match.
Absolutely they are. The second half performance has been much more like the Aberdeen we've witnessed for long spells throughout this season. We spoke about the late goals, we spoke about their push and their mentality. It's certainly going to be tested in the Dan Embers of this game.
Palaversa with the corner, bends it in. Nisbet's there, Duke's there too. Neither can get a clean shot in goal. Back heel from Duke towards goal, blocked on the line. Keskinen fires towards goal, blocked by Balcom. And St Mirren survive just. And it stays 2-1 to the home team.
And that would have been the most audacious goal from Duke. I think he back heels it through about 4 bodies. It may actually hit the post and come back into play.
Done, yeah.
And then somehow they've managed to scramble it clear.
And Jack McKenzie struggling to get the ball back from the St Mirren supporters on the far side. I can't believe there's not another ball out there to use. Graham Shinney's having to go and get it himself. So it will be an Aberdeen throw-in.
They've now got 3.
Standard tactics. Throw-in then. Aberdeen just taking quick over on the far side there by McKenzie. Once he got the ball, he immediately gave it to Palaversa, who goes back to Shinnie, left of the centre circle for Malloy. Out to Antti Palaversa, over on the far side, forward to Bazouin, little touch to McKenzie. Back to Bazouin, looks up, gets the ball in, it's not the best, but it breaks to Duke with a bicycle kick high over the bar. And it stays Saints 2, Aberdeen 1. Jimmy Tellene's, I was going to say blemish free, he did drop 2 points, but I think you give him that one, given it was at Celtic Park, but this would be the first major blemish of his Aberdeen career in the Premiership, Stephen.
Well, you have to say it's been quite the start, but he would have known. I said it at half-time, teams will up their game. They will see Aberdeen as a big scalp because of how they've started the season, and I think we've witnessed that this afternoon. St Mirren have probably pushed their performance level a little bit higher, And Aberdeen have been punished from a set play and from a silver ball over the top.
Oh, and Malloy's made a mess of it, and there's no whistle. It's going to go off Malloy, but eventually the flag is waved on the far side. And Aberdeen will have a free kick, though. Stephen Robinson and Brian Kerr can't believe the decision that was made there. Free kick, which Mitov takes and plays it short to Shinnie. We're heading towards the final 2 minutes of the 90 here in Paisley. 2-1 St Mirren. It remains 1-1 at Ibrox. Here's Rubidzic, long ball, looking for Duke, who slips, headed away by Gogic, who's been impressive yet again today. Kelty gets the better of Palaversa, and now he's driving forward. He's got Mandron ahead of him. Keskinen tries to prevent that from happening. The ball does come through, but it's cut out by Malloy. Out on the left for Keskinen for Aberdeen. Now he's driving down the left-hand touchline. He can't quite get onto it though, and then there's a foul on the Saints man over there on the far side, and that will be a free kick to St Mirren. That will waste away a few more precious seconds for the home team.
Yeah, I think it's all now for St Mirren is to try and manage the game. And sometimes managing the game means taking a step off the game and trying to defend your box. I get it's a dangerous tactic because it just means you're putting a lot of responsibility on your three central defenders. But sometimes needs must to get yourself over the line, because this would be a huge result for them if they could turn over the co-league leaders as it stands.
Yeah, the one frustration for Jimmy Tillin this season, and it's been remarkable, but the goals they've conceded have been pretty poor by and large. Preventable, and it's been the same here. 4 being added on here apparently. We're about to go into the 90th minute, so Aberdeen have 5 minutes to try and save this. We saw St Mirren 1-0 down the last time Aberdeen were here and won the game 2-1. You can't see that happening, but you could potentially see Aberdeen picking up an equaliser as Kelty fouls Devlin on this near side. Free kick just inside the St Mirren half.
Well, he's put so many attackers on. I think he's probably got 5 attackers on the pitch. He's got probably 2 midfield players along with his 4 defenders. So there's lots going on.
Shinnie over the free kick for Aberdeen on this near side. Vazawan had made a run, but Shinnie doesn't fancy it, so looks like he's going to try and launch this. One's a very high St Mirren line here. Shinnie with it, drifts it, floats it towards the edge of the box. It's one in the air by Tanzer and booted away by Phillips. It looks like he's going to get the better over his old team. Mitov plays it short to Shinnie. The 4th official has the board. He's ready to tell the fans, I hear there will be 4 added. It's out to McKenzie on the far side and back to Malloy. There's the 4 minutes confirmed. And now Mitov rolls it out to Devlin on this near side. Infield it comes to Palaversa. His ball forward is cut out by the man who stands to be the match winner, Richard Taylor. Here's O'Hara for St Mirren, now Mandron. Aberdeen had committed numbers forward, and Saints looking to come forward with Kelty. Does he go to the corner flag? He's up on the near side, plays it off Devlin and wins the throw in. He'll be happy with that outcome. Keelan Boyd-Muntz is going to come on to replace Greg Kelty for the final few minutes. And another really good performance by Greg Kelty. He was a thorn in the Aberdeen side last season as well.
What I would say about Greg Kelty, it's no surprise for me that the upturn in St Mirren's performances have came because he's back fit again. Stephen spoke about him missing loads of games. He's that player that he's flexible in games. They can move him about, but he brings a lot of quality going forward. He brings great energy. He triggers a press. He carries the team up the pitch. So him being back is a massive bonus. And performances, as to say, have been an upward trajectory since that.
Throwing St Mirren up the pitch level with the Aberdeen penalty spot taken by Tanzer. Will they get a free kick as well? Shinnie with the challenge. The ref's happy with it though, and it's Shinnie who'll win the free kick himself here. Brought to the ground by Tanzer. Well, it looked a stick-on free kick. Saints fans not happy. Here's Devlin on this near side. Long ball forward. Aberdeen's need is urgent. Headed away by Gogic. Breaks to Keskinen. Keskinen then knocks it out to the left-hand side for McKenzie. We've played a minute and a half. 4 were added. 2-1 St Mirren. It's down the line for Keskinen. Keskinen on the turn. Looks up at the Saints box. It's congested. Back it comes to Palaversa. Now Devlin, he wanted too long on it. He's had it snatched off him by Ayunga. Drives down the left-hand side. And then the foul and the free kick. It's a foul by Nisbet. And he gets booked, and a bit of petulance from Kevin Nisbet as well. 2 of the 4 minutes have come and gone. Really good play by Jonah Ayunga. Devlin, it was a tired-looking touch from the Aberdeen fullback.
He just picked his pocket, and once Jonah Ayunga gets up ahead of steam, he's very difficult to stop. Kevin Nisbet does really well. He's the centre forward. He's trying to stop the play. probably hasn't had as big an impact in the second half. Kevin Nisbet maybe is what Jimmy Tilleen would have wanted. I know he had the assist to the miss hit for the goal, but just as general play, I think the three central defenders have got the better of him.
Saints have it here. O'Hara back down the line there for Tanzer, who knocks it forward towards the Aberdeen box. Rubizic gets there first, plays it back to Mitov. Low ball to his left from McKenzie. Aberdeen have just over a minute left. Can they force an opportunity here? Out onto the touchline, Bazawan looks up, it's a long ball, looking for Keskinen. Tanzer wins it, heads it away, gets the bonus of finding the skipper O'Hara, who's on the turn and taking it across the halfway line down this near side. The challenge from Devlin comes off O'Hara and out for an Aberdeen throw-in. 1 minute left. 2-1 St Mirren. It's Bazawan on this near side. Back to Rubizic, then Devlin to Rubizic. St Mirren have chased causes all afternoon. Put so much into the match, and they are so close now to a victory. Here's Palaversa, long ball forward. Duke trying to get in behind down the left, but it's cleared by Marcus Fraser, out for an Aberdeen throw-in with 30 seconds to go. Level with the edge of the D of the St Mirren box. Goal back to Shinnie. Shinnie down the line. Breaks to Keskinen at the left angle of the penalty area. Topi Keskinen, two Saints players around him in his effort towards the box is cut out. Ayunga goes down. St Mirren were going to get a free kick there, but they're getting an advantage instead because Tanzer's pushed it forward to Boyd Muntz. Just about time up here, and St Mirren have the ball exactly where they want it to be. Rolled to the underlapping Phillips. The former Aberdeen player might get the final touch of the ball here. He's down towards the corner flag, and it goes behind for a throw-in down by the corner flag as Phillips celebrates what is going to be a St Mirren victory here. And he's enjoying this one against his old team, who didn't want to sign him in the summer. He's put in an impressive performance, as most in black and white have. It's been better from Aberdeen in the second half, but still not good enough to take anything from this match. And John Beaton blows for full time. Jimmy Tilleen loses for the first time in the Premiership at the hands of Stephen Robinson. It is victory for St Mirren as he blows kisses to the main stand, the St Mirren boss. It's been a dogged performance at times. Olisanya giving them the lead in the first half in 20 minutes. Gogic was ordered off. It was downgraded to yellow. And Jamie McGrath equalised in the second half. Aberdeen were better, but they weren't good enough to win this game. They didn't test Balcombe nearly enough, despite all the attacking talent they had on towards the end of the match. It was Richard Taylor, the big St Mirren centre-half, with his first goal of the season, as he nodded home at the back post from Mark O'Hara's corner. And St Mirren now unbeaten in their last four. It's their best run of the campaign in terms of points won in successive games. They're very much back in the equation, and performances like this could easily be top six again. Aberdeen's first league defeat since March, and now Celtic will have the chance to put daylight between themselves and the rest of the Premiership when they go to Hearts in the late kick-off. It finished here in Paisley. St Mirren 2, Aberdeen 1.